welcome back to Sector 1. We are here on awesome Category 1 racing action around Palisades Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit, yeah, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, only feels like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Oh my! Oh no! No! You can't do that!
Just see that steering grip and pull that curve.
Fuzzy is somehow keeping it on the track surface. It's a spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. Welcome back to Sector 1 Sim Racing for the first time in 2026. I hope you all had a safe and enjoyable Christmas and New Year's break and have come back into 2026 very excited for the season to come. Pardon me. This is, of course, the Legacy season for Season 12. It is a throwback to the very early seasons of Sector 1 in the very early days. A little bit before my time, I must say. So what that entails, basically, is we have a Group 4 cars with a minimum weight of 1,415 kilograms and a maximum horsepower. So we're talking 543, 542 horsepower, depending on the car that is chosen. Now, of course, the teams were given 8 different options to choose from, and those options were the BMW M4, the Ford Mustang, the Lexus RCF, the Dodge Viper, Aston Martin Vanquish, the Jag, and the Mercedes SLS. Must also mention, by the way, my name, of course, is Carbon Boy, and I will be your host this evening. And also joining me in the comms box tonight, in his, I would say, rather triumphant return to the world of race directors, is none other than one of the Lightning Motorsport drivers themselves, Mr. Lambinator. How are we this evening?
Not too bad, Carbon Boy, but the problem is I don't think I would call myself triumphant. It's been a long time coming for sure, though.
Well, I would say it's triumphant. It's here and everything's working, so I would definitely call that a success.
Okay, well, in that case, we're setting the bar at a medium height for me to actually get over rather than stumble.
Exactly. Always set the bar at an achievable level is my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Now,
well, anyway...
Did you want to have a little bit of a discussion about some of our drivers this evening?
Well, I do, because with this Legacy series, it's certainly opened up a lot of things, because the last time that this was in play was a few years back and on GT Sport. Since then, the game has changed quite literally. A number of updates have been in through the Gran Turismo and Polyphony game cycle. And you know, tonight in the opening round of the Season 12 of the Sector 1 series, I feel there's some trepidation coming into this season, as I'm sure, if not most other competitors will as well. And that's because we have multiple manufacturers, we have tuning, we have a number of new drivers such as Kiwi Matt, Warbo and IP Almonds looking to make a statement. And then we have some of our seasoned veterans such as Evil Evo, Boybegum and My Boss Stickers. And thanks to all these changes, you'll be a hero sometimes thanks to your car selection on that track, and times you'll be zero thanks to your tune and vice versa. And where previously you could sit back and predict based on the up behind the wheel pulling out a result, the reality is you just don't know. We just don't know at this beginning of the season. But now the rest, we're now on the precipice of finding out who has done their homework and whose dog has eaten their setup sheet.
Exactly. I have the feeling that there will be a few well-fed dogs in amongst the drivers tonight, so to speak. Probably not my finest analogy, but so we'll just move on very quickly from that. Have to say a quick hello to everybody in the YouTube chat. Thank you very much to everyone joining us. If you haven't already, you know the deal. Hit the subscribe button, smash that little like thumbs up, just to help our algorithm along. Good evening, Aussie Sim Racing. Good to have you back, as is one of our #1 fans, the legendary Deborah Fish. Always great to have them in the YouTube chat. Debrev, good evening, mate. Hello, Adam. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Adam5188, good evening. Mr. Wade Von Duve, hello again, Mr. Slappers, hello Zach Kelver, Jason Quillen, we've got an SJ, Greggs, and Mr. Brent EC, the Karen themselves. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. So, I think that's probably enough waffling on from yours truly, so let's have a quick look at the track map tonight so that we can see what we are in for. We are of course kicking off the season at none other than Dragon Trail Gardens in reverse in the foothills in the mountains in Croatia. Now, not exactly a real life track, but we can pretend. Now, of course, our standard settings for the season, excluding sprint rounds, will be a 2 times tyre burn, a 3 times fuel burn. We've got a refuel rate of 4 litres a second, so a little bit up on last season, just to try and open up some strategies in terms of the fuel save or the go hard, go home strategy. We are of course running our standard 10-minute qualifying session, and our race length tonight is 29 laps. Now, there are no compulsory tyres, however both the soft and the medium racing compound are available. Now, the track itself, Dragon Trail, it is 4.352 kilometres long. It has 17 turns, probably the most notorious of which is the infield corner of, I'd say, turns 3, 4, 5 and 6. The 4 apexed left-hander, which is, I've got the feeling that is going to be an absolute devourer of right-hand front tyres here tonight.
Look, I might have seen a few of the problems during the practice start.
A few problems of people could not turn left?
Yes, I'd turn left now, everybody else, good luck.
Ah, right. The old stereotype lane change, gotcha.
Yes.
Right, so the strategy tonight I do think will prove to be rather interesting, because we do have a large variety of not just manufacturers on the grid tonight. I'm sure there's going to be a very large range in regards to car setups. So seeing who does what, I honestly actually have no idea what people are in for, but I foresee that potential strategies will be a double medium, so a single stop on the medium tyre, or potentially a 2-stopper running either a double medium and a soft, or a medium and a double soft. I also anticipate we'll probably see the alternate strategy of somebody just doing a double soft stint. Good luck to them if they can make their tyres last that long, but I salute them if they can. Now, of course, we don't have any points or anything to show because this is, of course, the first round of the season, so they do not exist as of yet. So what do you say, Mr. Laminator? We get stuck into qualifying, we kick things off, and we give the audience what they came here to see.
We can do that, but I just want to update you just on one thing. There is one driver tonight who has decided to play their Joker card straight out of the box.
That is very true. Now, of course, for everybody at home, we have introduced a new thing this season to sort of act in lieu of a drop round. It's what we call the Joker card. So in any standard round, so not sprint or endurance, any standard round, a driver can play their what we call the Joker card. So if they anticipate a good result, or if they want to try and come back from a bad result or missing a race for whatever reason, they can play the Joker card and they will receive double the normal points for that round. So
the only exclusion to that being our endurance rounds, one of those being my favourite track, but we'll let that dog lie for the time being.
Well, the endurance rounds are already double points as it is, so I think everybody would just play their Joker card on the endurance round to get 4 times the normal points. So,
well, true. You know,
I think
that
that
conspiracy theory for me is a little bit hard.
Yeah, look, just anyway, moving along. So our driver tonight playing their Joker card is none other than your team owner Stickers. So I've been watching him in practice this afternoon, and he's been setting some rather rapid lap times. So he's obviously feeling pretty confident to play the Joker card in round 1 of an 8-round season. So,
look, I think it goes back to him hedging his bets that he's got a decent setup in the car tonight, while everyone else is still finding their feet. And I kind of subscribe to that line of thinking because at the moment you could be Hero 0 tonight, and you've got weather on top of that. You don't know which way it's going to go. You just got to back yourself and hope that you pull out a result. And I think this is probably a masterstroke in some way, but we'll see at the end of this race if I am looking like a Hero or 0 myself in that prediction.
Excellent. So what do you say we kick qualifying off and get this show on the road?
Let's get it started.
Ladies and gentlemen, fire in your thoughts once we have a look at the drivers. Fire in your thoughts as to who's going to be the top qualifier here tonight. So we've got our drivers lining up in pit lane at the moment. Who is going to be the first car out on track for the season 12? Rightio, so first cab off the rank is one of our brand new drivers in his inaugural race in Sector 1, a lad from across the ditch, Kiwi Matt, in the Black Rose race car tonight, who have chosen the Jaguar. We also have another inaugural drive tonight is Warbo in the Datsun Racing Corvette, which is a very bold choice because that car, while it's a weapon in a straight line, it's also a very thirsty girl. So if they can manage the fuel consumption on that thing, I think they might do well. Next out on track in the Hooncourt Mercedes, just pulling over out of the way, is Danico, returning for another season. So that's going to mess with my orders as we take a look at another Mercedes belonging to Stickers, the team owner of Lightning Motorsport. It's a beautiful green and white mobile this season. Then of course we've got Madrick for Black Rose, who's filling in for young Boybagum, who is currently on a family holiday in the United States. So not quite back in time for the start of the season. So his teammate has had to step up and rack up some team points for them. And we've got Dadson, the team owner of Dadson Racing, in the gorgeous black and gold Bacchus Brewery sponsored Corvette.
That is a beautiful livery. That gold is stunning, but there again, I might be slightly partial to gold.
I'm just a fan of the Bacchus liveries, no matter what car they've been on throughout the seasons, to be honest. And of course, we've got Tim Durags returning from last season. He's had a bit of a team swap. He's now in Blacklight Motorsport in their Jag that they have chosen in the gorgeous TMR livery. The good doc smashing out the liveries once again. And we've got the return of Evil Evo. He had a bit of a sat out last season, just taking a little bit of a break from racing in Sector 1. But it is fantastic to see him back. He's always been a very quick and very clean operator. And he is behind the wheel of the Dadson Racing Corvette with the beautiful red dog livery on the car. And of course the obligatory bright green highlights that Evil Evo is known for. Stepping up into Category 1, we've got Budsy Blaz making the move from Category 2 from last season, and also making the move from CP over to Symmetry, or Hyperdrive, my apologies, Hyperdrive Sim Sports, as they have rebranded to this season. As the man himself, Stickers, has dropped a very rapid 1:33.567 first flyer to put himself into pole position for now. Very closely followed by Evil Evo, who is a mere 100th of a second, or less than 100th of a second behind. I'm just trying to get through the rest of our drivers. Another new driver on the grid tonight is a Baker Boy, former Invitational Series driver from last season. Now behind the wheel of the CP Motorsports Mercedes SLS. And also making their return to Category 1 is the Cracked Esports team owner himself, Mr. Bumcrack, behind the wheel of the Kraken Motorsports Big Rock Brewery sponsored Mercedes SLS. Nearly called it a McLaren. Gonna have to be careful doing that. This seems to be the category of inaugural drives, because we've got another one here in the form of LP Armans. I'm gonna have to just go with it. I've got a couple of nicknames for him, but it's not 9 o'clock, so I can't say them. As funny as I might think they be, let's just keep it clean for now. So he's behind the wheel of the Hoon Corp Mercedes SLS, with the Merc proving to be a very popular choice of car, at least in this category. And we've got D. Reed in the second of the Doghouse Racing Corvettes, and you'll be able to tell the difference between him and Evil Evo because he's got the blue highlights. And I'm pretty sure that is all of our drivers, so if I have missed anyone, my apologies. So let's jump on board, I think, with Stickers and go for a little bit of a ride around the Dragon Trail reverse circuit as we drop into that nightmarish 4-apex left-hander through the infield, flat out up the hill and then into a blind right-hander, little dab on the brakes, try and hold it all the way left as much as you can, and then really cut the curb through that right-hander into a hard braking zone, into the hairpin in the back part of the circuit. Got to be very careful getting on the power out of that hairpin, because I can confirm it's very, very easy to end up facing the wrong direction.
Yes, it is.
So he's on an outlap at the moment, so we're not going to see any improvement on his lap time.
Might not be an improvement on his lap time, but definitely an improvement on where I would be sitting in my driving style with this car at the moment.
So he's going to have a little bit of touch on the brakes from the, I believe that was Arman's in the Doghouse Corvette heading into the pits. Let's have a, right, that's Danico on an outlap. Let's have a look. Who's not on an outlap. There we go. We've got Kiwi Matt currently sitting P5. It's only half a second off the qualifying pole position at the moment.
Well, I have to say the qualifying's pretty close at the moment with their banker laps. We're talking just over 0.8 of a second from position 1 to position 10. Back to D Reed is now a full second, and after that at Madbrick we've got 1.5, and Tim Durags doesn't look like he's set a lap. There's nothing on his board so far.
And I just have a word in from the pit lane radio. There was a bit of a problem with, I think it was your other teammate, Big J. The car was actually not on the qualifying grid, so we may have to manually add him, do a manual grid set for the race to get him onto the back of the grid.
I thought there was a car missing, but I thought, you know, with so many liveries, maybe I just missed it. But yes, we are down one black, green, and white Mercedes. And stickers to the top with a 1:33.210. He's just put 4.5 of a second on the field. He's not mucking around. He's going to play that Joker card pretty hard tonight by the looks of it. Evil Evo is now in second, and he's got 0.3 back to Mr. Bumcrack. And then we're tightening back up the field with 0.078 between Bumcrack and Denisho, with another 1,000th of a second back to Bloodsy, wow. And then 0.018 back to Warbo. Wow, you can throw a tissue over these guys. They're less than 1/10 of a second. That's a blink of your eye.
Stickers is, yes, definitely a man on a mission tonight, a 1:32.2. That's up there with some Cat 1A pace that I've been seeing in practice. So he's definitely the man to beat so far, but we do know that qualifying pace and race pace can be two very different things. Will remain to be seen as to whether the qualifying pace he's showing at the moment will translate into race pace, and of course strategy is going to be a big part of that.
Evil Evo to the top.
And as we say that, Evil Evo smacks him out of the way by, let's say, 0.5, give or take, with a 1:32.186, which is getting very... Mr. Bumcrack has also been knocked down a couple of spots, as that looks like our 10-minute qualifying session has... Well, our qualifying has been run and done by the looks of it. Got a couple of drivers still out there on their final lap. Got to check in with Kiwi Matt, currently in P5. The big movers in the last part of that qualifying session have been Tim Durags and Warbo, putting themselves up into 3rd and 4th, respectively.
By the looks of it there, Warbo got balked by Dadson. He just had that much more pace on him that just had to hit the brakes and roll out of it. So eventually Dadson got out of the way, but I think his lap is cooked.
That damage has been done, and Kiwi Matt is a second down on his best time, so I don't foresee him advancing any further up the grid. However, he could, could pull a second out of somewhere in that final sector. I don't know. Find it very, very unlikely. But as he crosses a line, does not improve. Neither does a Warbo. Rightio, I think that is our qualifying session brought to you by Boxer Beauty. Run and done. So let's have a quick look at those race results, not race results, the qualifying results. And we'll let you get your screenshots as well, because we will need to set the grid manually. So thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. The Category 1B qualifying, Evil Evo putting the Doghouse Racing Corvette on pole position with a 133.186. I believe I was saying 132s in my commentary. I was mistaken. Hang on, let me actually put my glasses on so I can read things correctly. That's actually much better. So joining him on the front row of the grid is Stickers, playing his Joker card with a lot of confidence with a 133.2. Taking out the second row of the grid is Tim Durags in the Blacklight Jag F-Type, joined by Warbo in the Datsun Racing Corvette. Third row of the grid is Kiwi Matt in the Black Rose Racing Jag, joined by Mr. Bumcrack in the Kraken Esports Mercedes SLS. Fourth row of the grid is Dadson in the Dadson Corvette, joined by Danico in the Hooncorp Mercedes SLS. Fifth row of the grid, we've got Budsy in the Hyperdrive. I'm slowly getting used to saying that. In the Hyperdrive Aston Martin with Baker Boy in the CP SLS. And in 11th we've got Madrick jumping in for Voidagum in the Black Rose Jag, joined by Mr. Armans in the Hooncorp Mercedes. And on the very back of the grid in 13th is D. Reed in the Doghouse Corvette, and joining him for P14 with a little bit of a car malfunction during qualifying will be Big J in a second of the Lightning Motorsports Mercedes SLSs. Rightio, so we'll just give our race director a little bit of time to manually set the grid. We will have a little bit of a chat. We'll say hello to people in the YouTube chat. What are your thoughts on that qualifying session? You know, is there any liveries you like? Any liveries you don't like so much? You know, was someone who like a lot faster than you thought? Come on, give me something to work with, people. Hello, Mr. SLM Buffer. Hello, there's a... feel like that Star Wars meme of there's a name I've not heard in a long time. Mr. Buffer, if my memory serves me correct, was a driver in Sector 1 / Thrill House back in the earlier days. So, says g'day, it's been a long time since he's been watching one of these. I'm sure it has, but it's fantastic to have you joining us again, and hopefully you're enjoying the action so far. He's a bit of a Dadson fan too, by the looks of things, so I will have a guess that he maybe drove for Dadson. You're stretching my memory here, sorry. So please don't tear me to shreds too much in the chat, please, ladies and gents. You're gonna have to work with me. Hello, Archangel. Hello, Mr. Bumcrack. You're meant to be qualifying, mate, not jumping in the YouTube chat. You must be better at multitasking than I am. So I guess while we are killing a little bit of time here, I might just have a little bit of a going over of the drivers that will be joining us a little bit later for Group A. Now there are quite a few familiar names in that category tonight. For instance, we've got the team owner for Thunder Motorsports, Artsy, and his fellow driver Heafy. They will be both on the grid tonight. We've got a Ricky Bobby and a Lenosis. My boys from APR Motorsport will be back on the grid. We've got, of course, Captain Muffin driving once again for Zero Turn Motorsports. He's also joined by former championship winner Mountain Goat, who's made the move across from BSR across to Zero Turn. So there's been some interesting driver movements in the off-season. We've got also Dale Teeks returning for Kraken Esports. We've got, of course, last season's champion Distinct Geesh returning for CP Motorsports. GTR, a former championship winner as well, returning for a Blacklight Motorsport. Got Sneaky Stevo coming back for Jamco Racing, and joined for the first time driving in Sector 1 is the Jamco team owner, Mr. Giffo. So keen to see how he goes on track. Now, in regards to some driver movement, we've got a former Invitational Series driver stepping up into the main game, Mr. Sways AU, hopping into the driver's seat for BSR. And perhaps some of the biggest news for Season 12 is the return of Mr. Six-Time himself, the Cyborg, aka Brocky05, who will be jumping into the driver's seat for BSR this season. So with that kind of that caliber of drivers in Category A, Category 1A this season, I am very much looking forward to some sensational racing, because there is a lot of championships on that grid. So very keen to see how that will go this season. Mr. Laminator, how are you travelling there?
Just doing one final check, and then we should be good to go. I don't want to stuff anyone up and cheat anyone out of a position, or give them one. So I just want to make sure I'm double checking my work before I hand it in to the teacher.
Never hurts to double and or triple check. Just checking back in with the YouTube chat. Mr. Buffer's tuning in. He's doing some other racing in another league, but that's okay. He's on another platform, so that's all good. Hope he's having fun. You were a Red Mist driver. Okay. Thank you very much for the correction and the little bit of a history there. Unfortunately, Red Mist Racing no longer with us here at S1, but yeah, they're a fair bit of history themselves, taking part in many seasons of Sector 1 sim racing. And we've got some predictions in the chat. I've got Greg's, who's got Tim DeRags on for a pole, Evil Evo for a second, Bumcrack to take out third. We've got, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Dark and Tetters. He thinks Tim DeRags is going to take the win as well. Then we've got Evil Evo again for second position, and he's got stickers down for third. Mr. Ruckus telling Timmy to go get it. So there's a lot of support in the chat for Tim DeRags tonight. So definitely worth keeping an eye on him tonight. See how he goes.
Alrighty, well, if you're ready to roll, I'm ready to roll.
I am 100% ready to roll. So anytime you'd like to smack that big green button, I am right when you are. Get the show on the road.
There we go.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've got a fresh drink, a fresh amount of snacks, you're sitting comfortably. This is going to be sensational. So we've got the cars on the grid. We have reverted back to a standing start for this season, as opposed to the rolling start we had last season. 5 lights. And our drivers are underway. Well, everybody getting a pretty decent start off the line. little bit of nose to tail action through the first 2 turns, through that tabletop. No major carnage from what I could see.
Very well done. Keeping it very straight into the first turn of the season. Not a bad way to go.
Everybody maintaining their positions for now. Though Tim Durags is hot on the heels of the Doghouse Racing Corvette of Evil Evo. Stickers keeping it clean. Just managing to put a little bit of distance between him and Evil Evo, but I do foresee that distance will come down, given that Corvette has extremely rapid straight line speed.
But unfortunately that speed comes at a price, and that being that she is thirstier than an alcoholic in a bar.
Kiwi Matt there, just running a little bit wide, coming out of the final chicane. Got a very tense looking battle between 2 Corvettes behind him, currently going for 5th and 6th. That's Warbo and Dadson going head to head. Well, actually, I'm not sure how head to head they want to go considering their teammates. Sorry, I'm still getting used to all these new liveries this season. So I just wonder if Dadson is going to pull rank as team owner. A little bit of a call over the Dadson Racing comms, just a polite, please move to the side. Or whether there will be no team orders and race away. It's all very calm at this point in time.
I think everyone's playing it safe. I think, and that's the right thing to do with only 1 lap into a new season. And because you don't want to be finding yourself on the green stuff when you're meant to be on the black stuff.
Yes, of course. And another thing that we have introduced this season, we'll have a bit of a chat about that later. So I'll just leave that under wraps for now.
Stickers not mucking around here. The boss is putting the foot down. Definitely. He's already pulled that out to 1.2. Evil Evo can't quite shake Tim Durags with just under half a second behind him. We've got half a second back to Kiwi Matt. Warbo once again just under half a second and gaining. Coming up to the line. Warbo, these guys are within less than a second of each other, except back to Mr. Bumcrack, who's got 1.6 back to Denosho. What I have noticed with the AMG is that you can actually notice the supercharger line, which I didn't really notice before, but no, it's there.
I'm getting a very strong sound of V8 exhaust burble. Let's see if we can jump on board. We'll go on board with Baker Boy here, currently sitting in P9. Oh yeah, you're right. There is definitely supercharger then. It's all fairly single file at this point in time.
It is. I can't say that anyone's making any serious moves. Denosho is losing a little bit of ground to Mr. Bumcrack, but he's got Baker Boy right on his backside, and Budsy's not too far behind him again.
Oh, hello, with yellow flag. Uh-oh, what's happened? Oh, I think Tim Durags. There's a name missing from the... Oh dear, what's gone wrong there? Let's see if we can catch that. See what happened on our LJ Media live action replay. Oh, it looks like he's had a bit of a moment in the final chicane. We haven't quite caught it. We've just got him coming back onto the circuit. So I would imagine he might have gotten a bit aggressive with a sausage curb and had a off-track excursion on the final chicane, which is a bit of a disaster for his race because he was sitting P2, P3 at that stage. And we've had a bit of a shake-up of the order because we've got Warbo up to P4. Evil Evo's dropped down to 4th. I wonder if that was possibly related to the off-track excursion of Tim Durags. Might have to wait and see in a post-race debrief and find out what happened there. But it's gotten a little bit hazy here on the foothills in Croatia, as we've got 5 cars in very close proximity. So while we've got the man Stickers, who's not mucking around at all, he's currently got 3.5 seconds to the good. He is clearing out, currently has the fastest lap of 1:34.9 over Kiwi Matt for the Black Rose Racing Team in P2, very closely followed by Warbo, Evil Evo, and then Dadson clinging on the back as well. Half a second back, if that, to P6, which is Mr. Bumcrack at the moment. So from 2nd to 6, you can throw a blanket over them, and if any of them put a single foot wrong, it could spell disaster.
Well, if you hook one of those tyres over the edge of the curb around here, it could very much end in disaster. The amount of times in the practice runs I saw that someone clipped just a little bit too much curb, hooked that back tyre, it was very much good night Irene, and you're facing the wrong way.
Done that a few times, can confirm.
Well, this place is absolutely brutal with those curbs. They are unforgiving, and if you snap at them the wrong way, they'll snap back and bite you harder than what you thought you could do. What's interesting to see here is those Corvettes are very much line astern. There's no one really breaking away. They're very much on the same par with each other. The Jag in front of it, of Kiwi Matt, is just starting to get a little bit more of a gap now, but now we've got Warbo who's decided to pull out a bit more of a gap on top of the other two Corvettes, and Mr. Bumcrack has just a little off excursion at the last turn there. Then we have a quartet, no, we have a triplet of Mercs behind them again, so it's like the manufacturers are playing their own little game between each other, sticking together.
It's also quite possible that that little group of Corvettes are just sticking with each other and trying to save a little bit of fuel in the early stages of this race, because we are on a lap 6 of 29, and I do think this is probably a good time to jump into an APR tyre and fuel update. What do you say, Laminator?
Let's do it.
Rightio. So our tyre and fuel update brought to you by APR Automotive. You are in safe hands. Kicking it off with the man up front, Stickers.
The man up front with Stickers, he's 3.5 to the good. He's acting like Thor, dropping the hammer, but his tyres are looking pretty good. He's just got just under 3/4 of a tank of fuel.
What kind of tyres is he on, by the way?
I can confirm I did a quick sweep of the field earlier, and they are all running the medium. So no one's being bold and trying to go with a soft option here yet.
Roger that.
Next back we've got Kiwi Matt, whose tyres are looking pretty much identical to the man Stickers. His fuel is about the same. So that Jag, that can be a little bit thirsty, they're keeping that under control with a bit of short shifting. Back we've got Warbo, his tyre a little bit better. That Corvette's not being so hard. It's probably around about 90% of the tyre wear still left to go. Fuel is near identical to the Jag. We've got about the same back to Evil Evo. We're talking, 90% of the tyre ready to go on that front left, 95 on the other three. Fuel, about the same. I've got to say, with my quick sweep earlier, everyone's on around about the same fuel consumption at the moment, so that's interesting, but we'll see how the race progresses. We're back to Dadson. He has a little bit less tyre wear to both the cars surrounding, probably sitting on about a little bit less than 90%. We go back to Mr. Bumcrack. His tyres are looking, wow, excellent compared to that Corvette in front, so whether he's just biding his time remains to be seen. Baker Boy, he's about the same on tyre wear, about 95% on that front left, 90 on the rest, and fuel marginal between the guys in front of him. Denosho, his tyres not too bad at all. Wow, D. Reed, his tyres are looking mint, probably 90% on all 4 corners. That is, compared to the rest, that's quite impressive. So he might just be buttoning it off, just hoping to keep that tyre alive and maybe plateau his drive to a lap time, basically.
He's also finding himself under a massive amount of pressure from Tim Durags.
I was going to say Tim Durags is now manning a comeback tour. His tyres are probably looking around about the 90%. It's not as good as D. Reed's. His fuel is better than D. Reed's. And if we go back to Big J, his tyres, yeah, still much of a muchness, around about 90% on that front left, 95% on the rest. Madrick, 90%, probably a bit lower if I'm honest. His fuel is about identical to everyone else's. Same with Buzzy, his front left is on 90%, the rest on 95%, and Ip Armands, ooh, I would say that's getting closer to 70%, and about 90% on the other 3. His fuel is nudging half a tank, so he's really trying to keep up with the rest of the field, but he's paying a invoice to do it.
There you go. That is our tyre and fuel update brought to you by APR Automotive. Thank you very much, Laminator. So we might just kick back to that Tim Durags D. Reed battle at the moment. Tim Durags obviously going to be burning through the fuel and the tyres to come back from the earlier incident, but he has managed to claw his way back to P10, so that's definitely an improvement. Keen to see who pulls the trigger first in terms of a pit stop. From what I can see in the fuel and tyre update, it looks like most drivers will be heading for a one-stop strategy tonight, but I'm known for not always being correct in that kind of guesswork, so, and the drivers are always quite fond of giving me the finger as they go down the main straight past the comms box.
Well, here's the thing, they might actually be going for a 2-stop and going to just simply push that first stop later into the stint and try and do, you know, a 7-7 stint on softs, for all we know. It could be one-stopping, but I think Stickers, probably with his pace, is probably going to be going for a one-stop. I can't say I've got any inside information there. He did not share his game plan. So
what a lovely team owner. Doesn't share his strategy with his teammates.
No, just drops the bomb in my lap and he says, here, drive this car. Back to Kiwi Matt. He's now got 1.5 over Warbo, and Warbo still has half a second behind to him.
Just
The
quietly,
tyres on the
sorry,
Vets,
the gap out to Stickers is 4 seconds, if you don't mind.
I'm not going to comment on that. That would show some form of bias.
But yes, Kiwi Matt and Warbo.
Kiwi Matt and Warbo, their tyres are just looking that little bit worse over Stickers. So I think now is when the Merc starts to kind of come into their own after that 10 lap mark. It's able to conserve its tyres just that little bit better.
Just going to jump on board with Evil Evo, who's the meat in the Warbo Dadson sandwich. So he's in the middle of the 2 Dadson drivers. All of these guys in the Corvette. They're looking to be fairly equal on pace down the main straight. At the moment, Evil Evo's just keeping that gap at around the 5 or 6 tenths mark to Warbo. Dadson's hovering at about the same gap behind, so it kind of looks like these 3 are just willing to put the war hatchet away for now, so to speak, and just play nice with each other in the early stages. We're on lap 10 of 29, so we're only 1/3 of the way through, so I don't see them getting too aggressive just yet. That may all change a little bit later.
We've got Tim Durags up to 9th now. Deep Reed was having a little bit of something to say about it, showing the nose on his quarter panel into the quartet of left-handers, but Tim Durags wasn't having any of it and has decided to put a second on him out of the hairpin.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on the Tim Durags comeback drive. Had a lot of support in the chat, so I imagine that there's a few people watching tonight who are very happy to see him making some forward progress.
Well, he's got 2.7 seconds to Denisho in front of him. I think, look, it's not an insurmountable gap. I think he can bring it down, but whether he can actually get past if his tyres are shot at that point is a different question. Or maybe Tim Durags might just go ahead and say stuff it and try to pull a alternate pit strategy on us just to try and get something over and hope it works.
Remembering that there are still, of course, the bonus points for achieving pole position, which that went to Evil Evo. But there is also a bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, which is currently held by Stickers with a 1:34.889. So a little bit,
the last lap.
A little bit down.
Tyres.
A little bit down on the qualifying, but that was on a 50% fuel soft tyre setup as opposed to majority of a tank of fuel and medium tyres of the race. So fairly noticeable lap time difference in the two different setups, but not exactly huge, all factors considered.
Seems like everyone's really getting into a rhythm now. Most of everybody's fastest lap has sort of come within the last 5 laps. So it looks like the pre-race start nervousness has gone out of it, and now they're getting focused and deciding to make sure they've got consistent speed.
Tim Durags has taken half a second out of Danico. He's got that gap down to just over 2 seconds. Mr. Bumcrack having a very solid race, sitting in P6 at the moment. The gap to Dadson in front of him has extended a little bit to 1.4 seconds, but still within range of being able to catch back up. I mean, probably a bit difficult for the Merc to catch a Corvette down the very long straight here at Dragon Trails Gardens, but plenty of corners to make it work, and plenty of fuel to burn between now and the end of the race. So if he can keep it within a reasonable amount off the back of that Corvette, he might just be able to make it up in terms of a pit stop and a fuel save.
Well, it's interesting just looking at Evil Evo's tyres at the moment compared to the 2 Corvettes around him. His tyre and fuel is looking much better than both of them, funnily enough. So he's obviously got something going on there, either in his tune or his driving style, that is making just that bit better of tyre wear and fuel burn just work that bit better.
I would possibly say that it is a fairly healthy combination of both of those factors. I mean, Evil Evo in previous seasons has always been fairly conservative on his fuel and tyres situation while still being able to maintain pace. And if he's also got the scenario of having a decent setup in that car, then that's only going to help play to his strengths.
Well, I've got to say, with the weather, it was initially overcast at the race start, but it looks like the clouds have cleared and we're back into sunshine.
So that will help bring up the track temperature a little bit, which will also a little bit be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it will give them a little bit more grip. On the other hand, it will also cause the tyres to wear out that little bit faster. So, you know, there's pros and cons to this kind of thing. So we might see that fastest lap time drop as the fuel tank gets a little bit lighter. And
Funny you should mention that. I'm on board with the boss right now, Stickers. He just says a 0.08 fastest lap through the first sector.
Oof, that's... Well, first sector, that's quite short, so that's still a fairly healthy purple margin.
Just as he's done that, he's gone through the final sector and he's 0.23 down. But he's keeping his time very consistent. He's usually within about 200ths between each lap, so that's not too bad.
What isn't a healthy margin at the moment is the 3/10 between Evil Evo and Warburg, currently in 4th and 3rd respectively. Evil Evo right on the back of him through that final chicane. And that final right-handed sweeper onto the main straight, you've got to be very, very careful not to run wide. As a first person has pulled the pin on the pit stop is Kiwi Matt. At the end of a lap 13 has decided, I've had enough. I'm going to jump into the pits. Oh, here we go, sorry. Back to Evil Evo and Warbo, side by side, coming out of the tabletop, turn 2. Warbo has the inside, going into the... No, he's backed out of it. He said, I'm not going to want to go side by side through 4 left-handers. Thank you very much. Doesn't feel like ending up in a wall or off track today. So he has relinquished second position to Evil Evo for Doghouse Racing.
Well, it was interesting watching those two cars come onto the straight. Warbo was a little bit wide, and I think that's a symptom of his tyre wear really starting to kick in, because that long last-hand corner is definitely a killer for the tyre wear, and I think we're seeing that with Evil Evo's better usage.
We just saw that, a clear example, I think, of that tyre wear coming out of the right-handed hairpin there, both drivers getting on the power. Evil Evo maintaining a very straight drive out of the corner, whereas Warbo did seem to be suffering from a fair bit of understeer from the front end of that Corvette. So, end of lap 14, I'm curious to see whether he's going to pull the pin and chuck it into the pits for a fresh set of tyres now, or whether he will go one more lap. He goes one more lap. I think he's deciding to run with Evil Evo and just try and stick with that slipstream. But now,
Crack in.
a noticeable fuel difference between
Yes.
Bumcrack and Kiwi Matt, despite the fact that they are both in Mercedes SLSs. I think Kiwi Matt came in with about 23% fuel, whereas the Plumber comes in with 13% fuel.
Well, he bought the whole taco, he's going to use the whole taco. What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all, just checking back. Kiwi Matt has come out around a little bit of traffic, but he is just in front of a Budsy and a Madrick. He's sitting in P10 with Budsy and Madrick in 11th and 12th respectively. And Mr. Bumcrack...
What is also noticeable with Mr. Matt is he has now gone to a soft and setting almost a 2/10 better purple sector through the first sector.
Ah, so Mr. Matt pitting at the end of lap 13, I would on the mediums, and then going to a soft. Right, I anticipate he will be back into the pits one more time before the end of this race. What tyre has Bumcrack gone to, out of curiosity?
He's gone to a soft.
Okay, he's also looking possibly to a 2-stop as he makes his way past Armans rather cleanly. And the boss, the top 3 have all pulled the pin. Top 4 have all decided, I'm going into the pits. And there's quite a broad fuel difference, with Evil Evo being the best on 16%, and Warbo being... whoa, okay, Baker Boy comes in with 5% fuel. So he didn't really have a choice. He had to jump in, otherwise he was not making another lap. And I would anticipate that those guys will be going for a one-stop race and chucking on a fresh set of mediums, brimming the tank, and then going hell for leather. So this does temporarily hand over the lead of the race to Danico, so we'll give him a little bit of look at me time while he's in P1. He's joined by D. Reed in P2. Do like the light blue highlights on the rear spoiler and the side mirrors of that Doghouse Racing Corvette. I think it works very, very well with the livery. And it also allows us comms people to differentiate between the drivers and certain teams.
Well, what was interesting then is everyone came in with a very large spread of fuel burn differentiation, and then went out with very similar tank levels. So around about that 88 to saw someone go to 100 a full tank. Within that 12 litre mark. So some people are hedging that they've got a little bit left in the tank literally to do a bit of short shifting and get through. And D. Reed is in the pits with a magical 1 beside his name.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes you inhale pretty hard with that kind of fuel mileage.
Speaking of fuel mileage, Danico going around again on lap 17. How's he travelling in terms of fuel and tyres in that Hooncorp Mercedes?
Actually, not too bad. He's front left, probably 10% remaining. The other 3, about 3/4. He still has around about an 1/8 of a tank left.
So he could potentially, call me crazy here, he could potentially be going for a one-stop medium-soft strategy.
There is the potential for that, but I would say that's a risky move. His fuel usage is obviously very good, but the tyre wear is what's biting, and I don't think even with the Mercedes being a little bit better is going to entirely save you. So he might be just playing a little bit of the long game here, hoping to get up a few positions, but not absolutely go for broke.
We'll check in later and we'll see how the either the alternate strategy or the overcut works out for him. Kiwi Matt currently P2 on the road. He is 6 seconds up on stickers. How did that happen?
I would say just looking at his fuel consumption, his fuel tank, he short-filled a little bit just to make sure that he can get the lightest loading possible on those racing soft, extract the tyre base and get the wide tyre wear down a little bit.
Right, so Kiwi, Matt and Stickers, are they both on the soft compound?
Negative.
Oh.
Mr. The Boss has come out with racing mediums on, and Mr. Matt has racing softs. Everyone else has gone for a lot of softage here.
Right, so Stickers is looking for the double medium one stop, by the looks of things. Whereas Mr. Kiwi Matt is probably looking for a 2-stop with a double soft stint to close out the end of the race. So while in the early stages of the soft tyre stint, he will definitely be able to extend that gap between himself and Stickers. When that tyre wear does start to kick in with these softs, it is quite the cliff that you fall off in terms of lap time and pace. Got that gap up to just under 6 seconds at this point, sort of fluctuating around the 6-second mark at this point. Evil Evo currently sitting in 4th. Just want to check back in with Danico as he comes around the final corner now. Is he going to pit? Yes, he does, at the end of lap 18 with 3% fuel left in the tank. Right, so as he hands over the race lead to Kiwi Matt. Now, Lambo, if you could just keep an eye on what compounded tyre Danico comes out on, that would be appreciated.
Can do. What's interesting is that Datsun has dropped off the back of Evil Evo by about 4 seconds, so not entirely sure how that cycle through the pit stops. It might be through fuel drop, but not entirely sure.
Well, he's dropped off the back of Evil Evo, but he's certainly not lacking for company. He's still got Warbo and Tim Durags, who's currently up to P6, if you don't mind. Tim Durags watch on the comeback trail. with this kind of pace, he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. So the rest of Category 1 Group B, I would watch out. I would be very, very wary of Tim Durags this season. He is looking very, very fast in that Blacklight Jag. He's currently all over the back of Warbo's Corvette for Dadson Racing. Trying to find a way past, but not to be just yet.
You wanted to know the tyre compound that the Nicho came out on?
Yes.
And it's got me puzzled a little bit. He's gone back onto a set of mediums with 11 laps to go.
Interesting. Okay. That's a bold strategy choice. We'll see how it works out for him.
Look, a little bit concerning. I'm not in his seat at the moment, so I can't give you any sort of definitive line on what he's thinking. But to certainly go that long into the race on those tyres and just have that tyre wear chew into your lap times, I think might be a little bit counterproductive, or he's hoping.
Oh, here we go. Sorry to interrupt. Coming through the tabletop, we've got a move by Tim Durags on Warbo. Tim Durags chucks it down the inside of the... Well, I'm just going to call it the tabletop now. Turns 1 and 2. And gets the move done before the quad apex left-hander. So Tim Durags up into P5, if you don't mind. Definitely got the pace here tonight, and I would say he would, if it wasn't for that unfortunate early incident at the final chicane, he would most definitely be contending for the race lead at this point. As he's eyeing off his next victim, just half a second up the road, 1 second up the road, in the form of Dadson in P4. Durags making these soft tyres work. How are the soft tyre guys doing in terms of tyre life at this point?
Oh, yeah, that was a bit of a shock when I went to a soft tyre player, let's just put it that way. We're talking maybe 10% on Kiwi on the front left. That's really starting to scream. 90% on the rest. Mediums looking pretty good, and softs are biting. Well, let's just put it that way. They're nowhere near as hardy as those mediums on this track.
Rightio, so Kiwi Matt on lap 21 at this stage of 29. I would hazard a guess that he will be in at the end of this lap, if not lap 22. I mean, just looking at his lap times at the moment, he's been in the 34s, in the low 35s, but his last lap was a 36 flat, so yeah, definitely losing a little bit of pace. That cliff of the soft tyre wear has been approached. Mr. Luca Carding in the chat asking how he joined Sector 1. If you jump into the video description, you will find a link to our Discord. You will also find a link to our website and other socials, so you can find all the information you require there, and if not, feel free to ask some questions.
Kiwi Matt has pulled the pin. He's now in the pits, 14% of fuel in the tank on those softs. No doubt bolting on a new set of fresh softs. D. Reed, interestingly enough, is also on softs, back in position 11. Looking pretty good on them so far. I think he stopped at, he stopped on lap 18.
Or was that D. Reed stopped on lap 18, or was that Danico?
Apologies, no, he stopped on lap 15. No, hang on, no, I'm looking at the wrong person. Get your act together. No, he stopped on lap 16. That was when his lap time jumped up. He's been pretty consistent since, so he dropped in at lap 16, and those tyres are 6 laps old, but he's doing really well on them. Interesting.
Anyway, so we've got the stickers. We've got stickers back into the lead of the race. He is doing a one-stop on the medium tyres. And he's currently 9.7 seconds up on Evil Evo in P2, who is on the soft tyres, I believe?
Medium.
Oh, okay, so another medium tyre runner. Right, so probably fair to say that the top two are going to be running until the end.
Yes.
And then we've...
three.
Oh, Dadson also on the medium tyre, but he is under... Is he on the medium?
Actually, the top 5 are still on mediums. They bolted on a fresh set of mediums, so they're going one stop. The next one on go soft tyres, as Mr. Bumcrack and I say, that he, with a penalty, he's probably going to pull it into the pits, as I am proven correct.
Yeah, so just checking in with Dadson at the moment, going very defensive into turn 1 on Tim DeRags, but I don't think that's going to matter, as Tim DeRags has basically executed the same move as he did a couple of laps ago on Warbo. Beats Dadson under brakes into turn 1 and just pops it down the inside, gets the inside on the exit and says, see you later, thank you very much for the position. So Tim DeRags, with an absolutely stonking comeback drive, he's come back from P13 back to 3rd. So he's made up 10 positions. It's lap 23 of 29 and there's only 4.3 seconds between him and Evil Evo. So there is potential, even though he's got himself back onto the podium from nearly dead last, he could put himself into 2nd place for this race, which would be an absolutely phenomenal drive.
I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting that much of a comeback. I was expecting a top 5, but he's certainly got the podium in his sights, that's for sure.
I can almost hear the good doc screaming from here, the Blacklight team owner. He would have been screaming for a very different reason earlier on the race when Tim DeRags was not on the track on the final chicane, but I think he will be absolutely cheering his lungs out right now with this effort from his driver tonight. I think he'll be very happy with this this signing, the driver of this caliber. So Dadson has also managed to pull a little bit of time out to Warbo. Gap there is 1.7 seconds. Warbo's got a healthy 3-second gap over Kiwi Matt, who's in P6 right now. Again, another 4-second gap back to Baker Boy, who's joined by Danico, who's only 7/10 off the back of him. Now, Danico's on the much fresher mediums. Is Kiwi Matt on the softs? He was on the 2-stop?
Correct, and his last stop was on lap 21, and he's also dropped the fastest lap, the previous lap, 1:33.647.
Rightio. So I'm keen to see how Baker Boy is going to hold up to Danico, who's managed to get that gap down to just under 4/10. So Baker Boy, he's on the softs, but they're already a couple of laps old, and that tyre wear does tend to get pretty savage. So they're coming on the end of lap 24 of 29, so 5 to go. I don't see him being able to hold position over Danico for 5 laps on rapidly eroding tyres, but no, drivers have proved me wrong many, many times in the past. Just having a look further back down the field, you've got Big J sitting in P9. Fairly quiet night after having the technical issues in qualifying, but he's managed to make up a few spots from the back of the grid start, so pretty solid effort, all things considered.
Solid effort, but I think I was expecting a bit more out of my teammate tonight. Not a jibe at him, just I thought there would be a little bit more pace in it, but whether he's just still getting used to the car and or this track remains to be seen, but I think that could play a part.
Got a fairly solid battle here. As I say that, Budsy for Hyperdrive has just run a little bit wide through the quad apex of the infield and has let Mr. Bumcrack slide on by to take over P11. Actually, looks like Budsy might be struggling with the car a little bit at this point. Wonder if that's a tyre wear or...
You would be somewhat correct on that.
So tyre wear becoming a massive factor for Budsy. A little bit of TV time for Mad Rick, of course, filling in for his teammate Boy Bagum. Just racking up those team points for Black Rose Racing. And not the best night, it would seem, for Mr. Armans. He's a fair way back off the back of the field, but there's still plenty of time for him to find some more pace out of that Corp SLS. I do want to check back up the front. I want to see what that gap is between Evil Evo and Tim DeRags. Now that has come down to 2.5 seconds, so Tim DeRags is definitely got the foot to the firewall and is using all of the taco and all of the fuel to make it happen. It always provides that little bit of extra motivation when you can see the car in front of you that you're chasing.
And it just gets that little bit bigger, and then another corner it's a little bit bigger, and that really provides an incentive.
Indeed, you've just got to be careful not to overdrive the car, because you make a mistake and all of a sudden that car gets a lot smaller, or it disappears entirely because you're facing the wrong direction. Ask me how I know.
That, or there's another car that takes its place that gets a lot smaller too.
Had that happen, that's always a fun one. But yeah, fair to say Mr. Stickers has, well, he's played his Joker card well, it would seem, here tonight, because on a lap 27 of 29, he is currently nearly 12 seconds out in front, looking very, very comfortable. Very consistent lap times in the sort of high 34s, low 35s, so very, very consistent times here from your boss man.
Very, very consistent. He's a human metronome. Look at that. That's, wow. He's certainly put in the kilometres to actually get that down. I'll give him that. Wow.
So Tim DeRags still getting that gap down. A couple of tenths here and there. It's down to 2.4. Dadson with a very commendable drive here tonight. He's working his butt off by the looks of it, trying to hold on to that P4. Still got 8 tenths over Warbo, but that's only one small mistake, and all of a sudden you've got another Corvette going side by side.
Correct. Warbo's taken a little bit of time out of Dadson over the past couple of laps. Last time I looked at them, that gap was 1.1 seconds. So Warbo has decided to put the foot in a little bit further. His tyre wear is better than Dadson's, so maybe that is part of the factor.
Takes a lot of the curb there in that final chicane. There's a very fine line in that final chicane between taking some of the curb and getting launched into the stratosphere by that orange sausage curb.
Yes, to me personally, I found the best way to execute that is to put that sausage curb right under the middle of the car, straddle it, but the only problem is sometimes you just a little bit too fast, a little bit too...
Oh, here we go, Warbo! Warbo with a massive send into turn 1, goes deep, outbrakes himself. So for a brief moment had P4, but hands it back with just going way too deep under brakes there.
I think Warbo just needs to bide his time a little bit here. Under that helmet, he needs to keep a calm head because he does have better tyre life than Dadson. I think if he just bides his time last lap, I reckon he'll be able to execute something there.
Just have a look at that on our LJ Media action replay. We're a little bit late to the party again. That's okay, I'll get it right one day. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a a hot minute between streams for me in the off season, so forgive me being a little bit rusty. As we are on lap 28 of 29, this 4th, 5th and 6th group have bunched up very, very close. You could throw a beach towel over the three of them.
I was going to say, I don't think Warbo can really think about dancing anymore. He now has a very hot Kiwi on the back of him.
Yes, he's had to switch from offense to defense, it would seem. Speaking of which, we'll just have a look as they come across the line for their final lap. The gap between Evil Evo and Tim Durags is 1.8 seconds, so not insurmountable, but definitely a big ask in one lap. Now, there's been no massive send into turn 1 from Warbo again. Kiwi Matt has had his little bit of a drama there, so he's lost half a second off the back of Warbo there. Danico into P7. Managed to get his way past Baker Boy, so very solid drive from the Hooncorp driver tonight. Very impressive, considering the overcut strategy, it would seem.
Yeah, I wonder if he's rooming going a little bit too long on those meetings with that early stint. But obviously he found some value in it, so he just did it.
But we do have to give a little bit of TV time, a little bit of look at me to the man, the myth, the legend, the Lightning Motorsport team owner, Stickers himself, with a very, very commanding performance here tonight. Didn't get the pole position, has been nipped out of the fastest lap by Kiwi Matt, but will take the checkered flag here to take out round 1 at Dragon Trail Reverse. It's going to be a very tight finish here between Evil Evo and Tim Durags, but Evil Evo for Doghouse Racing does hold on to take the second step on the podium, with Tim Durags with a driver of the day worthy performance with that comeback, bringing home P3. Dadson hanging on to P4, Warbo taking out P5, Kiwi Matt P6. Danico will bring home 7th position, just in front of a Baker Boy in 8th. Big J will take 9th from starting last on the grid. D Reed P10, Mr. Bumcrack in 11th, Budsy coming home in 12th. A little bit of a gap back to Mad Rick, doing a very commendable job filling in as a Cat 2 driver, stepping up to Cat 1 for the team points, bringing home P13. And what must be said, probably a bit of a rough night at the office for Armins for Hooncorp tonight. A little bit off the pace, it would seem. Not quite sure whether he just had a bad run or didn't quite get the tune right. Oh, yep, please don't hit the wall, thank you. But he does see out the race and brings home P14. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our first race of Season 12 and 2026 run and done. So we shall do a quick little summary of our race results. So taking out the race win tonight for Lightning Motorsport is Stickers himself. Taking home the second step on the podium for Doghouse Racing is Evil Evo, and joining them on the podium in an absolutely stonking drive for Blacklight Motorsport is Tim Durags. Just off the back there in P4 is Dadson for Dadson Racing, Warbo for Dadson Racing, so fairly solid haul of team points there for Dadson Racing, it must be said. In P6 we have a Kiwi Matt for Black Rose, who will also pick up the extra point that goes with the fastest lap of a 1:33.647. We've got Danico in 7th for Hooncorp, Baker Boy in his first race for CP and S1 in P8. Then we've got Big J for Lightning Motorsport in P9, D Reed for Doghouse in P10, Mr. Bumcrack for Kraken Racing in P11, Buzzy for Hyperdrive Simsports P12, Mad Rick for Black Rose in P13, and LP Armans for Hoon Corp in P14. Rightio, people in the chat, throw in your Driver of the Day nominations. I'm just going to go right out there and say it. I'm throwing mine in for Tim DeRags. That was an absolutely phenomenal comeback drive from P13 to take out third. So, without a doubt, like, for me, that's not a question.
Look, I'm going to have to agree. Unfortunately, I wish I could give the boss of the DOTD. I know what it's like to sit out in front and, you know, win by a good few seconds. You drove the perfect race, you did nothing wrong, but you got some guy that just absolutely rips you through the field for one reason or another and just steals that little accolade away from you. So definitely Tim DeRags for me tonight.
It seems that the YouTube chat tends to agree with us. There's a lot of Driver of the Day Tim DeRags, Driver of the Day Tim DeRags, Tim DeRags Easy Driver of the Day, a little bit of a Doghouse info injection. Evil is apparently driving on a rig side by side with his teammate D Reed, so physically in the same location.
Wow.
That's impressive and scary. We've also got another Driver of the Day, Tim DeRags, Driver of the Day, Tim. Got a Driver of the Day for D Reed. Another nomination for D Reed and Warbo and D Reed, but I think the numbers speak for themselves. I think Tim DeRags is our Category 1B Driver of the Day, and rightly so, making up 10 spots in a field of this caliber. That's almost unheard of. Also like to say a quick hello to Ghost, who's joining us in the chat as well. Good to have you on board, mate. Please don't be too critical of my efforts. Remember, I'm just a rookie. Same goes for you too, Mr. Good Doc. Yep, nice to have you joining us as well. Rightio, so that was a pretty solid way to start the season, I would say. Not exactly.
Yeah, no major incidents, and no deployment of our first safety car, so that accolade could very well go to Cat 1A. Everyone drove a pretty straight race. There's not much you can do. Sticker's obviously pulling a master stroke, being confident and backing himself with the Joker car straight out of the first round, and it has worked wonders for him.
Indeed it did. So we will just take a short intermission while we get everything set up for our next race, which of course is the cream of the crop here in Sector 1, the fastest drivers we have available, and some of the fastest in the continent and around the various parts of the world, if I could make such a brag. So while we get all that set up, we shall take a short break, so please avail yourselves to the bathroom facilities, grab some snacks, grab some fresh drinks, and come back to join us for what I'm sure will be some very exciting racing. We did have mention of there, a little bit of a slip up there. We did mention our new feature this season is the safety car, which I will talk about a little bit more when we come back after the break, because I need something to waffle on about. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Lambinator for being our race director and co-coms tonight. It is great to have him back on board the race director team here at Sector 1. So thank you very much, mate.
Not a problem.
Great pleasure to have you in the comm box. I think you've done a fantastic job, and I look forward to sharing the comms with you for the rest of the season.
No doubt there will be a few more.
Indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go too far. We shall be back very, very shortly.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are in category.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are seated comfortably and have metaphorically strapped yourselves in and you're ready for some sensational racing action here tonight at Dragon Trail. Now, before we get going for our qualifying session for Category 1A, I will have a quick little chat about the new feature that has been implemented for Season 12. It has been a while coming. It's just been working with the game mechanics and various other factors to make it work. Now, we do have the red flag scenario, which in the event of incidents has been a fairly decent way of having a race restart in the event of a massive accident. But of course it's not foolproof, and it does have its downsides. So we have always been looking for a workaround, an alternate situation, which we can implement to basically, if it's a smaller incident and there's a couple of guys off the back of the pack, you know, have an incident, it's not worthy of a red flag. Unfortunately, you've got two drivers who are 20 seconds off the back of the pack in the first couple of corners, and their, you know, week of practice is ruined and their night's just cutting laps, and it's rather boring. So, our solution, which is we've finally been able to implement it, is a virtual safety car. So this, in the event of an incident with 2 or 3 cars ending up off the track, the race director can make the call of a safety car, and in which case all the drivers must immediately slow to 80 kilometers an hour and form up a single file. Now, before the final, once the drivers have managed to catch up to the back of that pack, and all the drivers are all together again, the race director makes the call for green flag at the end of the lap. Now, once the drivers are onto the main straight after the final corner, it is up to the race leader to determine when they get going again. So nobody else can go until the race leader punches it. And there is also a caveat of there is to be no side-by-side or overlap until after the apex of turn 1, once the green flag has been called. This is basically to avoid another massive accident at turn 1, which, if anyone's ever raced at Monza, will be incredibly familiar with. So, while we always hope that we don't have to make the call for a safety car or a red flag, it is nice to have these processes in place to provide the best racing experience possible, and also to try and avoid any delays in the stream, which can also be caused by our comms guys waffling on for way too long. So in the meantime, I will shut my mouth and I will introduce you all to my second race director for tonight, joining me in the comms box, Mr. Banker. Good evening, mate. How are we doing?
G'day Carbon Boy, g'day everyone. Really looking forward to this. It's, as you said in the close of the 1B, this is the cream of the crop, and I've got to say a couple of things. There's a little bit of chess playing happening in the practice sessions, so no one really showed their hands there, but if I was a betting man, I think we might see a 32 on the table in the qualifying. The other thing is that when we joined the track, it looks quite sunny now on the broadcast, but it did start the day off very misty. I've just had a quick check of the 200k radar. There's nothing there, but it can rain at this track, so who knows? But no, really looking forward to this. I think it'll be an absolute blockbuster.
Yes, everybody's having words are hard moments tonight. It's not just me, so it's always good. That is one thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, this track does have rain capability, so a reminder to everyone else out there, if you haven't bought rain or intermediate tyres, you might want to go buy them, because you may need them, unless of course you're in category 2B and you're the good doc and you don't get rain even though you scream for it. But I will leave that alone, because I'm sure that's a sore point for him right now. So what do you say we punch that big green, well, I'm not sure what colour it is now, but we'll punch that big start button for qualifying and get the show on the road.
Yeah, just green, that'll get it working. So I've just given the drivers their final notice, and I will get the quali underway.
Excellent. Everybody in the chat, I hope you are very much looking forward to this, because the caliber of driver we have here in this group is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I don't want to wax lyrical about it, but there's 10 championships in this field.
I was trying to count it before, but yeah, I'm
Actually,
pretty sure I got to 9.
Well, we've got. Well, as I run through the drivers, we'll work it out from there.
Yeah, and we've got a very a multi-championship, or 2 multi-championship winners returning for the season. So I'll let you cover that as we get through the guys.
Rightio. So we've all learned that doing math on stream is bad, so we'll let you guys in the YouTube chat do the math for us as I kick the camera on to qualifying for Group Category 1A, brought to you by APR Automotive. So first out on track in his inaugural, I was going to use another description, but we'll go with inaugural drive for Zero Turn Motorsport. In the Corvette is the kid Mountain Goat, who is a 2-time championship winner.
Yep, I believe so.
So you've got two championships right there, closely followed by Heafy in the His Boy Elroy Jag, giving off very, very strong V8 supercar vibes. And we've got Dale Teeks returning for Kraken Esports in the Big Rock Brewery sponsored Mercedes SLS. And we've got my boy Lenosis in the APR Motorsports Jag, which
championship holder.
Also a championship winner from last season and a couple of seasons ago in the category 1B in the Pepsi Max inspired V8 supercar livery of the APR Jag. Then we've got Artsy in the not so, I think I've got a little bit of a livery glitch here, because we've got a lot of cars with the standard livery on board. So if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, I may just have to duck out and then duck back into the lobby to get these liveries working. So if you'll excuse me and listen to the dulcet tones of the banker as he calls the action, just pretend it's radio for a minute.
Count your money, people. No worries. So we've got pretty sure on the track, first car across will be Mountain Goat, but I'll just go down through the balance. We got to Artsy Thunder Motorsports, previous champion Distinct Juice in the Merc for CP Motorsports. And I've got to say, guys, to the livery guys, the work this season is just, I say it every season, but this is just spectacular to have the different, 4 different makes of cars, but the expertise in these liveries, it's world class. GTR in the, pretty sure that's Blacklight, but I'll probably get it wrong. Brocky 05, now I will get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's had 6 championships. He's doing the Valentino Rossi of Sector 1. And Swayze in P9, car 9 on the track. And who we got? Captain Muffin in the Zero Turn Motorsports. Now, with Captain Muffin, he does have a pretty fierce thunderstorm in his vicinity, and it's been playing havoc with his entry tonight. So fingers crossed that he gets through it. And I'm pretty sure we got E-Bulk in the Aston, Daltex in the Big Rock AMG.
Right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have
Good.
liveries.
Save me, it's the new liveries and it's the new drivers and new teams, so just those first night jitters. But
that's all right. Okay, so we've got Heafy. Didn't want to do the livery lords any injustice. We have to show off their work. So
and there's that 32 I spoke about, Distinct Juice, 132.334. Absolute cracker, and I reckon 0.9 of a second better than the 1B qualifying time.
So we've got Lenosis with 2 championship wins. We've got Geesh with 2 championship wins. We've got Artie in the other Thunder Motorsport Jag. Very beautiful black, pink and purple, picking up a bit of kitty litter there. Got Mountain Goat with 2 championship wins. We've got Brocky, Mr. 6-time. On the comeback, maybe looking to go 7-time, who knows. Captain Muffin, also a championship winner, I believe. And pretty much everybody into the pits.
Yeah, so I think we'll see a outlap flyer in lap, and that way they'll get 3 cracks on the softs.
Also a quick shout out to my other boy, Ricky Bobby. In the other APR Motorsport Jag, he's gone with bright blue wheels this season instead of his usual black, which I think complements that livery very, very nicely. Which again, some sensational work done for us by the good doc, so thank you very much. He was given the design brief and has absolutely knocked it out of the park, so I love it.
So there'll be the new launch for that team next week with orange wheels?
You betcha. It was the first thing I did after I put the livery on the car was, yep, those wheels need some paint. So we've got E-Bulk for Hyperdrive Sim Sports, currently occupying 13th on the grid, and also a shout out to his maiden, that's the word I was looking for, maiden drive in Sector 1 is the Jamco Racing team owner himself, Mr. Giffo. So you'll be coming to head with the tuning aspect of the Jag. And we'll also have the fun of running as a TO and as a driver. So at the moment I have current fastest lap, which I'm guessing my timing is going to be off because I had to exit and rejoin the lobby.
Definitely G's, 132.334. 3 tenths up on Brocky 05.
So Sneaky Steve-O and Alan. I'm never going to tire of this. Alan, Steve, Steve, Alan. We'll just stick with GTR, I think.
Yeah.
So GTR currently, or my timing's out, so I've got Sneaky Steve-O in pole with a 35.3, which does not sound right.
Definitely not right, but the lobby should adjust. If anything, I can run through as we've got fast times. So the order to Sync G, 3 tenths up at a 132.334. The guys are on their first rolling lap, the top 5 at the moment. 3 tenths back. Brocky at 5. He's just picked up a penalty on his flyer, so that will hurt him. GDR 5.5 tenths back from Brocky with a 33.226, followed by Sneaky Stevo 0.08 away and getting a really good toe down the back section. And GDR's rolled out of that, but it's given Sneaky Stevo some great slipstream, so we'll just watch what he does with this lap. A little bit loose over the sausage curbs there. So just keep an eye on that, guys. I'll just keep an eye on the time. Daltek's up to P6 with 133.267. There's 4 drivers into the 32s.
I am liking a new feature on the timing tree introduced a couple of updates ago in GT7 is in qualifying it shows each driver's fastest lap on the timing screen. So as a driver or even as a comms person, that is just a nice little touch.
Absolutely. So Sneaky Stevo got Captain Muffin 0.09 back on a 133.407. Artsy 0.2 back, 133.6. So very, very close for the majority of this group. Evol 133.641, just 0.03 back. So there is nothing between pretty much P5 and P12 here. Evol's just found the grass there in the Aston. So that will cancel out this lap. Heafy in P13, a 134 flat, and 0.8 back Giffo in P14. So just at this early stage, probably hasn't had the chance to get a clean lap. It can happen.
I'm just looking at my boy Lenosis, currently with a 132.8 lap. I was in some practice with him this afternoon, and he was, as he pulls into the pits there, interesting with, someone's done a very smoky burnout. Somebody from zero turn, by the looks of it, has, I'm going to put my money on that being Muffin. No.
Goaty would be the other zero turn driver.
Rightio, so it looks like our 10-minute timer is done and dusted. So apologies for the lack of timing accuracy during this qualifying session.
We still have Daltek's running. He's 3 tenths off his best. So he should be right, but everyone else appears to have completed their flying laps.
I figure for the sacrifice we've made with the timing accuracy, I think it's worth it with being able to see the gorgeous liveries correctly on the cars instead of the multiple standard liveries I was witnessing thanks to GT7 doing GT7 things. So we might just cut back to the slideshow screen for now as we wait for all of the cars to finish their final laps, which I'm pretty sure everyone has.
Any second, yeah.
So currently just waiting for the timer to run itself down, and then we'll have a quick recap of the qualifying results, just so you all get a fairly accurate idea of who is placed where. Our timer has finally decided to close up. So, qualifying results brought to you by APR Automotive. That is not correct. Right, thanks to Adelaide Ceramics Coatings. There we go, I've pushed the right button. On pole position, picking up where he left off from last season, is the current Category 1A champion, Geesh, for CP Motorsports, with a 132.260, which is a very healthy half a second up on my boy Lenosis in P2 with a sensational effort in qualifying, I must say. Not too far off the pace as well, despite his claims that he's old and washed up, is Mr. Cyborg himself, Brocky, on the second row of the grid, joined by my other boy, Ricky Bobby, who was also complaining about not having pace this afternoon. Clearly I'm being lied to by my own teammates, so whatever tune those boys have in the car, I would like that, please, and thank you. Whether it works for me or not is a different scenario. So on the third row of the grid we have Sways for BSR and Mountain Goat for Zero Turn in that Corvette. And we've got Dale Teeks for Kraken Motorsports in 7th, Sneaky Steve-O in his Category 1A. No, he did drive fast. Never mind. With very solid performance in P8. And we've got the Thunder Motorsport team owner Artsy in 9th, joined on the 5th row by Ebulk from Hyperdrive Sim Sports in that Aston Martin Vantage. Not the strongest qualifying, it would seem, for GTR in the blacklight Jaguar, but if he can do anything like his teammate Tim Durags did in the previous race, we are on for a hell of a show, starting in P11. We've got Giffo joining him on the 6th row of the grid in the Jamco Jaguar. And we've got, on the last row of the grid, we've got Captain Muffin in the other zero-turn Corvette, and Heathy in the second of the Thunder Motorsports Jags. So, quite the interesting result to qualifying there, Banker.
I've got my doubts on that qualifying screen. A little bit different to what I'm showing here. Like I've got GTR and P7 at a 33.226. So, yeah, not really sure what's happening with the technology.
I think that's the timing glitch by me joining back into the lobby, and that would have been the fastest time that GTR set while I was in the lobby. So, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Well, how about we just kick into the race and you can see where they qualified for real. How does that sound?
Yeah, no worries. The order wasn't that far out. There were just a couple there that have set those fast laps when you had that timing aberration. So I'll just let the guys know that we are starting.
Rightio, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, please chuck in your predictions for the podium. No particular order, just top 3. Let me know how you think. Good Doc's calling it. Headlights are on. Yes, that is generally an indicator of a bad weather being imminent, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah, and just to let the viewers know, I'm just quickly in the radar, and so far all clear.
Good
so
evening,
with that note,
people in the chat. Good evening, Woody, the Zero Turn TO, tuning in to watch his boys drive. Hello, another one of his drivers, Mr. Shannon Jones, aka Cruisin'. Good to have you here, mate. Looking forward to racing against you this season. Hello, Niff. Lovely of you to join us. And Foss, also good to have you boys watching. And I'm assuming this is Giffo in the chat. Muffin and Heathy are ahead of me. Yep. The timing is completely cooked on my behalf, so again, apologies everybody, but we'll just get straight into the racing and you can see where everybody's positioned. So whenever you're ready, Banker, let's hit the big go.
No worries. Instructions have been given to drivers. We are starting.
Lovely.
It's becoming a little bit overcast again. So we've had mist, bright sunshine and overcast in the space of 20 minutes. So.
So we've got the drivers on the track. One light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The hammer has been dropped. We are underway here at Dragon Trail for Category 1A. Little bit of shenanigans going on there, little bit of gamesmanship. Rocky looking for a position on G into the first turn, but Lenosa says, I'll have that down the inside. thank you very much. Moves his way up into P2 as easy as you like.
And we have all drivers through the first 2 turns cleanly.
And Ricky Bobby joins him too, so Brocky's dropped 2 positions off the very start in the first turn. Lernosis and Ricky Bobby looking to get off to a strong start and start chasing down Geesh. Couple of drivers a little bit wide through that. I really got to give a nickname to that 4 Apex left-hander, but...
We just had Heafy a little bit of a bump into Artsy, so teammates have come together. He's lost 2 positions.
Rule number
back
1.
To P11.
Rule number 1, don't hit your teammate. Rule number 2, don't hit your team owner.
Yep, and Captain Muffin in the vet, he's having a torrid time with Swayze. He's in a sandwich with Artsy.
Oh, not a good place to be. You're in the middle of Artsy and Swayze. Both very competitive drivers there. Muffin's having a look down the inside into the final chicane. Not the place to do it, I would imagine. That sausage curb is launching a few cars off the ground there. It's getting very, very spicy in the back part of the field. Nobody's died. Everybody's still there or thereabouts. Very, very spicy. Oh, E-Bulk using all of the track and then some on the final corner exit, but manages to stay away from that wall, which will make you go from 200 to 0 in the blink of an eye.
Oh, Heafy's wide in the first turn. Daltex and E-Bulk maybe gets through here, both will. Oh, and a bit of a bump. Oh, how he missed that Armco.
Oh, you could
a little
leave.
Bit of a bump there on exit.
He did go deep under brakes, but you could leave him a little more room than that, gentlemen. But at the moment, I'm not a steward. I'm just a comms guy, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, not sure why the mirrors didn't go on the Armco then, but that's given Giffo a bit. Oh, just as I said that, he's had a moment on the curb there.
So looking up the front, Geesh has already managed to work some magic, and he's got himself out to a 1.5 second lead over the APR tag team of Lenosis and Ricky Bobby. Looking very, very strong there. I would imagine the two of them are on the radio, having a very close communications with each other as to what the strategy is and what the plan is. Got Brocky settled himself into 4th position. He's got GTR hot on his heels, half a second back.
This will be his first drive back with Sector 1 now for what, 4 seasons? 3? Yeah, at least 3, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last time he drove at this one.
Might have been season 7, actually. So no, it's good to see him back. This is as you said, world-class field here. These guys, and across the 4 different manufacturers. Be interested to see, like in the first race, just how things pan out with tyre and fuel and alternate strategies.
Solid battle here for P8, 9 and 10 between Muffin, Sneaky Stevo and Swayze. Got a Corvette, a Jag and an SLS, all fighting for the same piece of real estate. Little bit of grass. Ooh, Muffin's having a bit of a rough time in that Corvette, it would seem. Sneaky Steve.
Yeah, he did have a couple of moments in practice. So, and yeah, Sticky Snippers putting the nose up the inside there. What was his acceleration like out of the corner? Not quite good enough. Vet stretched its legs down the straight.
I mean, even if you absolutely nail an exit in the Jag, that Corvette is just an absolute missile in a straight line.
Oh,
so
he's gone wide. Muffin's gone wide there. So, good recovery to get it back. It's normally a wall outcome.
Oh, Muffin's having a bit of a rough time, and he's just lost 2 positions to Sneaky Stevo and Swayze. And if he's not careful, he could lose another spot to Dale Teeks, who's not that far behind. And
Muffin's got a great run here. Just going up for an inside move here on Swayze.
Side by side through the tabletop.
Yep, just been able to hold it in tight.
So he picks up, gets 1 position back, gets himself back into P9.
Well, we've got GDR's just put a move on Brocky. into the first of the left-handers. And Lenosis has run wide just a touch ahead, so that opened the door a bit for Ricky Bobby, but he didn't take it.
He's a very gracious teammate, I think, Ricky Bobby. Might be acting as a rear gunner there for Lenosis. So he's got... words are hard. So I think both of them will be very aware that both GTR and Brocky, where they're situated and how close behind they are. So it might be a strategic maneuver to not overtake his teammate. We'll see how that strategy comes out to play a little bit later, as GDR is now starting to stretch the legs on that gorgeous TMR sponsored black light Jaguar. I do like the metallic orange on that car. Just really pops against the white background. Always had an eye for deliveries, the good doc. Always been a fan.
Absolutely.
And liveries like this are exactly why I left the lobby and came back in, so that we would not get stuck with boring standard liveries. The livery guys...
Captain Muffin's wide again.
Oh, he's not having
just on that first corner, but...
he's having a bad time. He's down to P12 right now.
Yeah, like E-Bolt got through and it brought Heafy right up on his rear spoiler. Ricky Bobby's got past Lenosis for P2.
So we've got a couple of predictions in the chat for the podium. We've got Geesh, Brocky, Ricky Bobby from Greg's. From our lovely Deborah Fish, we've got Brocky, Agodi and Geesh. Renegade wants me to call that for Apex left-hander the Pentagon. I'm not sure if I'll do that because it's a 4 Apex corner and a Pentagon has 5 sides, so I might take a hard pass. I know maths in the comms box is not our strong suit, but I can do that one.
I just call it all the lefts.
Well, I've got a name for it, but I'm still 34 minutes away from being able to say that, so...
So at 9 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm just seeing here, GTR and Brocky are really closing up on Lenosis here, so it'd be interesting to see how he handles the pressure, whether he sticks to his numbers or he races the guys coming up behind him.
Just watching Brocky and GDR through that corner that shall not be named. 2 very different lines. I mean, not at all surprising given there's a Jag and a Mercedes. Also something I'm looking at with a lot of enthusiasm is currently making ground up on his former TO is Mountain Goat.
Down the inside of Lenosis. And he's made the pass stick and it's brought Brocky right up.
Just keen on watching the gap between Mountain Goat and his former TO slowly drop, because I really want to see that battle happen. Yep, GDR on a very solid drive here tonight. It's a little bit sideways. I think that might have been a slight touch. Hard to tell in the final chicane, because that car of GDR is quite loose, as Lenosis and GDR are side by side.
Leno's got a great run out of the corner on that tighter line. Brocky is just sitting on the rear bumper of GDR and he's going on, he's taking a dive into it. And I say that in a nice way. It was a good lot of pressure applied under brakes there. It was good.
Right, now I was just having a thought there. I think it's about time for an APR tyre and fuel update, because I'm very keen to see who's doing what here.
Absolutely. So I'll go straight out. Everyone is on race and mediums for the first stint, so I'll just really call out the front left unless there's something obvious happening with the others. But we've got Geesh sitting at about 92% of tyre left. Very close to that is Ricky Bobby. Sorry, I did the fuel. Jesus there, he's sitting at about the 65% mark. Ricky Bobby, slightly better fuel and just maybe 2 or 3% worse on the front tyre, but nothing to worry about there. Lenosis, he's sitting down into the probably around about 80% on his front left, so definitely more wear. And the upside is he's got slightly better fuel than his teammate in front. Brocchio 5, best tyres on the front left, he's sitting around 94%, and fuel, he's got the best fuel of the bunch at probably about 67-68%. GDR, similar tyres to Lenosis, same fuel as Brocchio 5, so those two, and when you watch them, they are really trying to maximise the fuel burn in this car. So it'll be interesting to see at this stage. I think they'll come into the pits with the best fuel. Mountain Goat, front tyre probably on the par with GDR, and he would have the worst fuel in the vet at sitting at about 56%. Artsy, a little bit better fuel, identical tyres to Mountain Goat. The guys down the back, and I don't know if it's running in traffic, but as we get down into the bottom half where they've been following each other closely, I think that's putting pressure on those front left as well. That said, I get to Swayze, and he's in front on both fuel and tyres. Interestingly, a Merc like Brocchio 5. Daletex, he's just over 50%, but he's looking after his front left. It's sitting at about the 90% mark. Sneaky Stevo, 57-58% fuel. Front left, equal with the best of them. And we've got E-Bulk Racing Mediums. He's fueled in line with most. His front tyre is a little bit more worn, sort of on par with Lenosis, just under that 80% mark. Heafy tyres and fuel, really good fuel actually, in line with the best fuel savers. Tyres are in line with what most of the pack are running at that bit above 80% mark. Captain Muffin, fuel, the others have done probably half a lap. He's done half a lap more since, but he's 51% in fuel, halfway on the front left. So, and you just see it there as he's turning into turn 1. A little bit of trouble pulling it up. Giffo, probably 47% on the front left, and 49% in fuel. So he's had a few moments on those tyres, and they're hurting. But that's it. Thank you, APR Automotive tyre and fuel update.
Thank you, Banker, for that update. So, everybody on the racing medium tyre, I'm keen to see whether these guys are going to be able to go for the one-stop double medium, or whether they're going to go for the two-stop with a double soft stint, or even a double medium and a soft stint. I mean, we did see a decent spread of strategies, as we see Geesh have a lovely moment getting all crossed up in that final chicane. I mean, he is 6.5 seconds in front at the moment, so not the end of the world, but that is going to cost him a second or so. As
a bit of a change at the front too. Well, we're going through that tyre and fuel update. Brocchio 5's in front of Lenosis, and GTR was giving Lenosis all sorts of hurry up in that last sector.
Seems like GDR does have the pace through that the final sector of the track.
Yep. Swayze is inside move at turn 1, and he's managed to get past Artsy.
Might just jump on board with GDR as they come up to the corner that shall not be named. Just right on board with the black light Jag. Clip the first apex, hit the second one, give the third one a bit of a miss, and then get on the power and nail the fourth one. Don't run wide, because that curb will spit you out to that left-hand wall quicker than you can blink. Ask me how I know.
Actually, it's quite amazing on just some of these cars that fall off on those mediums in just 2 laps as the sun's come out. yeah, quite amazing. We've got a couple of drivers now sort of getting very close to the 40% left.
Is that in terms of the tyres have worn out a lot faster as the track
Yeah, a lot
temps come up?
faster. Yeah, just in the last 2 laps. The wind, I thought it was around the 2.2. They've got a big headwind on the back straight down into the S's now. 4.1 metres a second.
Well, Gnosis has just been able to hold his own on that lap over GDR. Who's got the better tyre situation? Oh, as I say that, Lenosis has run. Geez, don't scare me like that.
That once you get flicked to the right like that, it is very hard to stay away from that wall or the pit entrance.
Oh, we might have a bit of a move here. GDR is all over that rear bumper of the APR Jag. Gotta say, there's some gorgeous scenery in the background here. Never mind the action on track as both Lenosis and GDR get a little bit sideways into the corner entry. Lap 11, I think the tyre where GDR is... Whoa, that's a car control moment right there as he gets all kind of crossed up. But keeps it on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting where they pull the trigger here because you can get home from lap 13 if you pit at the end of lap 13. And we've seen drivers in that first race, I think, majority were 15, but there were a couple that went for the overcut.
Yeah, Danico actually, I don't know whether he went a lap or two too long on the overcut, but he definitely made that work with a reasonable amount of success, bringing home a P7 in the earlier race.
Yeah, you can definitely do it if you looked after your tyres. You want to keep most of the drivers here well and truly entrenched in the 35s. You don't want to really, if you're going the overcut, you don't really want to go much beyond that low to mid 36, especially in this company where you've got guys coming out on fresh tyres.
Just going to give a little bit of TV time to my boy Ricky Bobby, doing a sensational job currently sitting in P2. He is 8 seconds off the back of Geesh, but he is 1.5 seconds up on Brocky, which he will be very wary of at this stage. Ricky Bobby, of course, is no stranger to squaring up on track with Brocky, having done so in seasons past. Not sure how enthusiastic he was about doing it again, but he's definitely happy to see Brocky back on track. As that gap has come down to just under a second.
Yeah, and the leader, Distinct Geesh in the CP Motorsports, he's inked out now 8.7 second lead over Ricky Bobby, which isn't an easy thing to do, but just watching his onboard telemetry, he's just driving that car so smooth it's not funny.
He's currently got the fastest lap as well with a 1:33.833, which on a reasonably full tank and medium tyres is yeah, disgustingly quick.
Yeah, and done that without and has achieved that without killing his tyres.
He's done
Or
that.
fuel. So it's going well.
That would have been on lap 2 or lap 3 he did that lap, but he's been in the low to mid 34s for every single lap since. So the CP metronome still functioning as per normal, whereas we've got Ricky Bobby solid amount of lap times in the 34s, but there have been a couple in the 35s, which
There's a little bit of a bump there from Lenosis into GDR, and he's backed out of it going into the first of the lefties.
GDR has picked up P4 on the road, by the way. We have missed that overtake, but
yeah, just a little bit of a bump over braking as you turn across that left-hand curve.
Lenosis is showing a fairly decent amount of pace here tonight, so he might just be happy for now to sit behind GDR, get a little bit of a slipstream.
Well, I'm just looking between GDR, Lenosis and Mountain Goat behind. Their tyres Geez, they're getting on the edge of, do you do another lap and pit? Or do you go early at the end of 13 and run a lot of fuel load?
That is the question now. They are approaching that point of where they need to make well, if they haven't already predetermined their strategy, they need to think about making a call.
GDR's gone around again. They're going around.
Very soon. So they'll go at least one more lap.
Yeah, if they go into 15, it's going to hurt them. Oh, GDR's wide there. Lenosa's got a chance.
Been riding on board with Lenosis, getting a up close and personal view of the rear bumper of that Blacklight Jag.
Seeing that tyre differential between the Jag and the Mercedes, 2 and 3, Ricky Bobby and Brocky 05. Brocky's taking noticeably tighter lines into corners, and he's cut that deficit down to 3/10.
We've got a red hot battle raging on at the moment for P6, P7 with Mountain Goat in the zero-turn Corvette, under fire from Sways in the BSR SLS. The guy who is, well, no, I won't say that. No. Anyway, moving along. As Sways gets the job done at the hairpin, but Goaty returning fire, stretching the legs of the Corvette with a brilliant exit, just says, "See ya!" and goes past the BSR SLS like it's standing still. So,
and trust me, I know which car I'd rather be in for a front left tyre, and it's not Goaty's.
yeah. Look, especially when you've got this sweeping right-hander as Ricky Bobby pulls the pin.
Goaty's going into the pits. Yep.
So Ricky Bobby, first person to blink, drops into the pits with 27% fuel. Goaty with 16%, which, given that that's in the Corvette, is not exactly a huge surprise. Fuel consumption? Yes.
Yeah, and it's tricky in traffic with that car too, because if you're forced to battle higher than or harder than what your the numbers that you're setting, you can very quickly find yourself on the wrong end of a fuel burn. That said, I've also seen the Aston do that in some of the practice sessions, so just depends how the race comes to you and what you're allowed to do with the car, I think.
Just want to say a quick hello in the chat to BVL Accountant. Says it's good to be back. Good to have you back, mate. Welcome back on board. Hello to Ryan Archer. I hope everyone in the chat is enjoying the racing action. Just remember to smack that like button if you would be so kind. Please and thank you.
I think you'll see Jesus gone around for his 16th lap. And we've got Brocky 05, he's boxing now. This will be a pretty decent fuel save as well. And he still had a third to go in his front left.
Rightio, so is Brocky looking for the undercut on Geesh potentially as Sways comes into the pits as well. Also joined by Dale Teeks. Beefy's rounding the final corner now. We'll see what happens. He also pulls a pin and he's into the pits. So Ricky Bobby comes around the final corner. He has already pitted. So we'll see where he ends up as he gets in front of Brocky.
Oh, and he's gone deep.
Oh, he's overcooked it just a little bit, which has given Brocky a sniff, but those tyres will still be coming up to temperature on that BSR SLS. So Ricky Bobby's still got his work cut out for him. But it can't just be all eyes forward for the Cyborg at the moment, because 8/10ths back, he has GTR. And not that far behind, 1.7 seconds, is the other APR Jag of Lenosis. So if anybody puts a foot wrong, it could mean you lose 2, if not 3 positions. So
Geesh is boxing now.
So he's got 17% fuel, which is about on par with the consumption of the Mercedes of Brocky.
Yeah, he should come out around 9 or 10 seconds minimum ahead, I think, of Ricky Bobby here. Fuel goes in.
That was roughly the gap before the pit stop, so I would imagine that is where it will be. That action there seems to be on pause. Ooh, there we go. We found some action here. Sneaky Steve-O in 8th, coming under fire from the zero-turn Corvette of Mountain Goat, P9. Goaty is all up in his business, trying to find a way past. Oh, Sneaky Steve-O is very wide on that final turn. That is going to cost him a couple of kilometres an hour in top-end speed. Goaty doesn't send it down the inside under brakes into turn 1. Okay. Little bit of maturity from the young fella.
Yeah, I think he's taken on a little bit more fuel than the balance of the field. He's got the run down here to the first of the lefts.
Oh, there we go. Goaty makes the move into that quad left-hander. Sneaky Steve-O runs a little bit wide, but begrudgingly relinquishes the position. But yeah, I think he's going to want to have a conversation.
He's just got that little bit more fuel to. I think he wants to capitalise on the vet, the extra few seconds in the pits, just to use that horsepower. Not a lot extra, but enough.
Just checking back in at 2nd, 3rd and 4th. The gaps are still steady, between about a second between Ricky Bobby and Brocky, and near as makes no difference a seconds between Brocky and GDR. So fairly steady there for now. The gap has come down a couple of tenths between GDR and Lenosis. Big surprise actually is Captain Muffin in P6. How the heck has he done that? Don't tell me he's doing an alternate strat.
I think he is.
Oh boy.
I'm just looking at the fuel load, so there's absolutely no way he will get anywhere near the end of the race on that fuel load.
What tyres is Muffin on?
He put a set of mediums on,
okay,
and he's absolutely flogging it.
Well, Muffin is notoriously a tyre killer, so I sense that he's gone with the mediums and a lower fuel load and the lick the stamp and send it attitude. So basically he's just pretending he's on a qualifying run in that Corvette.
Yeah, I can't, unfortunately the display's not showing his laps prior to this one to me, so I can't really see what his times are, but he's definitely maximising tyre use.
Do yourself a favour, flick to the next driver and then flick back to him.
Just did that, yeah, just 2 34s, and the rest have been 35s, so...
Like and subscribe for more hot tips.
I've just got to focus on not killing the lobby.
Hang on, and while we've been talking about that, sorry ladies and gentlemen, Brocky has overtaken Ricky Bobby on lap 18 and made his way up into P2. Too much talk about the Muffin Man's alternate strategies. Brocky has got the job done on my boy Ricky Bobby, and that gap between Brocky and Geesh is just under 11 seconds, so fairly substantial margin to try and catch up. I mean, not impossible, but I mean, good luck, I guess. With Geesh currently having the fastest lap of 1:33.695, so slightly improving on his 33.8, and he's just dropped that on his previous lap of lap 18.
Yeah, so at the moment we've got Captain Muffin and Gifo on the same strategy, where they've gone out that second stint on Will Swayze on Captain Muffin here. Hairpin down onto the back straight, nice clean pass. That said, Captain Muffin's on the fuel light. Big run down the straight. He's going to take him here. Can he pull it up for the right end of the S's?
His teammate Godey proved a couple of laps previously that Corvette on the back straight is an absolute monster. But it might. I don't think Swayze is aware that Muffin will need to pit
He's
this lap.
got a box, I think. Yeah. Oh, he's let him go through.
Yeah, Muffin knows he needs to stick to the right for that pit lane entry, and with Swayze putting the nose down the inside, he had no choice but to back out of it and relinquish that spot. Otherwise, he's not getting into the pits.
And I think you'll see Giffo come in too. He's just hit the fuel light and his front left is cooked.
Right. Fair enough.
But everyone else, similar strategy. Little bit of a variance in tyre wear, nothing really good. Probably the three that are the best are the top three in the field. On tyres, they're very, very equal, and there's nothing in the fuel between them. So, can Ricky Bobby? It's 12 and a half seconds between him and Jish. It might be a gap too big, but there's definitely the podium is up for grabs, and GTR he's got him well within his sights. He's only 1.3 seconds back, and Lenosis again only 1.4 off the back, so anything can still happen for the podium.
That gap between Ricky Bobby and GDR has extended out a couple of tenths. It is sort of fluctuating between the 8 tenths, 1.5 second range, so keep an eye on that. But I did just want to give a little bit of TV time to two drivers who have sort of had a very quiet evening. It's the two Thunder Motorsport drivers at the moment of Heathy and Artsy, who are currently running line astern in 9th and 10th.
And that 3 to 5 tenth gap has not changed in about 3 laps, so they're enjoying it.
Looks like Heathy's got the more calm and controlled car setup, whereas Artsy's car is dancing around quite a lot. So
yeah, it's one of those things here that haven't probably worked out with this class yet, but we've got these two cars been running line astern for a few laps. Artsy's carrying a little bit more fuel, but his tyre wear is probably 20% more, I guess, in relative terms to Heavy if they pitted at the same time. So yeah, it's just, is it the dirty air, or is it that extra weight of fuel just making a difference, that front left tyre?
Got E-Bulk down he's in a little bit of no man's land actually in P12. He's got nearly 9 seconds to Dale Teeks in front of him. He's got 10 seconds to Captain Muffin behind him, who has hit for the second time, so he'll be good to run to the end. And Giffo in P14, who appears to have pitted earlier. He's on an outlap and has been lapped by Jish on lap 21. Oh, it's a fairly solid reminder of just how quick this young fella is.
And just looking at the times, I mean, these guys at the front are consistently peeling off 34s.
So Jish currently, near as makes no difference, 12 seconds up on Brocky in a P2, who has managed to get himself a little bit more of a gap of 2 seconds over Ricky Bobby in a P3, who is doing a fantastic job of fending off GDR. He's got 1.3 seconds to the good. Lenosis 1.8 seconds behind, still keeping in touch, but he can't be eyes. Well, actually, no, he can be. That's not a zero. He's got a very healthy gap to Swayze back in P6, who's got a fairly decent gap himself over Mountain Goat, who's currently running a P7. Sneaky Stevo he's had a very quiet drive tonight. He's just kept his head down, and it's a very solid performance at the moment, sitting in P8. He's only a second off the back of Mountain Goat. How's the tyre situation between Sneaky Stevo and Goaty?
Yeah, so it's almost identical. Goaty's running, he's probably got 2% better fuel. So it means he can, well, certainly from here he should be able to stretch the legs a bit, just looking at where they're Yeah, certainly using the powers, some different gearbox configurations as well. We've got the Jag running a 7-speed, and all the others are running a 6, if I'm correct. But you definitely see the different rev treatment down the straight. Sneaky Steve-O isn't sort of hanging around.
Interesting to note that in this season, out of the 8 options that were available, only 4 of the manufacturers were chosen. So the BMW M4, as sneaky as GDR, got all sorts of sideways there into the entry of the corner that shall not be named. So the BMW M4, the Ford Mustang, the Dodge Viper and the Lexus RCF were the 4 cars that unfortunately did not get the nod for a run this season.
And there are a couple of the really good cars. I was surprised no one took the Viper. It won this. This is our Legacy series. This goes right back to the Thrill House days with just some of the most enjoyable racing drivers voted on in this class of car. And go back to season 6, I'm pretty sure it was a Viper that got that.
It was driven by Andrew Lee at that point.
Lee, yeah. Distinct Andrew, yeah.
I was a fan of the in my own testing. I just personally dismissed the M4 and the Mustang because I've driven the M4 a lot and I know its limitations. I hate Mustangs, so that wasn't even a consideration for me. The Lexus was really nice to drive, but then you looked at your lap times and it's like, why am I 1.5 seconds slower? Why am I so slow? Like, it feels so nice. It was good on fuel, it was good on tyres, and slow. So that was a unfortunate, oh well, not that one. And I was personally an advocate for the Viper, but in our own testing I could not preserve tyres. It just, fuel wasn't the issue. Those front tyres were rapid consumables, let's say.
Yeah, and it had the most uninspiring sound from the cockpit.
I didn't mind it. It was nice to drive, but it chewed front tyres like the Corvette chews fuel. So,
yeah. And actually, just a bit of a trend happening here impacting the podium. So we've got Distinct GC's just looking after this car sensationally. Brocky's on about 70% front left, good fuel load. Bricky Bobby's similar fuel load, but he's now just touching under half tyre wear on that front left, so it's going to be a challenge for him to pull that 3 seconds back. And GTR has slipped back a little bit. He's down to now, I reckon, 30% left on his front left. Fuel's not a worry, but the tyres are going to make it really hard in what, 5 laps.
5 laps on 30% tyre. Ooh.
Tyre, yeah.
Oof.
It's going to make it really hard to... That 1.8 seconds might seem like a mile away to him, I think.
Yeah, I think consolidating your position might be the choice at this point. How's Lenosis's tyres looking?
Same boat as GTR.
Okay.
A touch better, but there's really not much in it. So, again, to pick up the 2.4 might be a bit tricky. That said, the guy behind him, Swayze, I know he's 7.5 seconds adrift, but he's got plenty of fuel and he's got 70% of his front left.
Well,
available.
That gap was nearly 10 seconds a couple of laps ago.
Yeah. So Swayze's got a really good chance here, and from what I've seen in the 2 races tonight, the Merc is quite quick.
He's extended his gap over Mountain Goat as well. He's got 7.3 seconds up on the kid, so who still has Sneaky Steve-O for company. Battle hasn't finished yet, I don't think.
No, and Lanosa's lap time, solid 35s, in the low end of 35s. He's just done a 36 flat. Swayze 34, 35, 34, 35, 34. You got a yellow flag up ahead.
Uh-oh.
Can't see anything on the track there.
Why am I seeing an extra car? Ah, that is Giffo being lapped by Ricky Bobby, and now has a GTR coming up on him. So that's a blue flag scenario.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened there. We got Captain Muffin back to 13th, so he may have had a moment.
We'll have a look at his timing split and get an accurate picture of what's happened. Although he's coming around the final bend now. No, I don't think
not
his
him.
lap time is indicating anything untoward. He's 1.5 down.
And we've had Daltech split the Thunder Boys into P10.
There we go. He's the meat he's the meat patty in his boy Elroy's burger. cheeky sponsor plug there for the Thunder Motorsports team. You're welcome. I expect a free burger the next time I'm in the area. At least a discount one. Fairly solid drive as well for the Kraken Motorsports driver.
Yeah, I've got to say, but for first race of the season with the the full tuning on these Group 4 cars, it's interesting to see how guys have approached it. But there has been a few aberrations with tyre and fuel, but they're quite similar and just slightly different driving styles. Outright speed, I know the Vet and the Aston have that little bit of a counterpunch available to them, but they've really been quite even.
Things seem to be settling down up the front end of the field. Just checking back in with that gap between Brocky and Ricky Bobby. It's out to 4.5 seconds, call it. But the gap between Brocky and Geesh is nearly 15 seconds. Ricky Bobby has got, near as makes no difference, 2 seconds up on GTR, so it might just be a tyre situation at the moment. GTR has 2.5 seconds up on Lenosis, who has managed to get that gap back up above 8 seconds to Sways in P6. Sneaky Stevo and Mountain Goat still going at it. Sneaky Stevo up into P7, so he might just be getting the better of the kid, who might be suffering from either fuel consumption or tyre wear in that Corvette, quite possibly both.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the time. GTR and Lenosis have responded to Swayze's charge, and even though they're driving on minimal front left, they've been able to stay back into the 35s. So yeah, good adjustment of their race strategy there to.
Heafy having a big moment there coming out of the final chicane, getting a little bit loose on the grass. Just cost him a little bit of time over Dale Teeks, who's probably going to be in for a fairly solid battle for 9th position with Artsy.
Yeah, I think the big battle here is 7 and 8, Sneaky Stevo and Goaty. Very similar car condition. Yeah.
Does get a little bit
Goaty's a bit tighter through there.
Does get a little bit gappy further down the field, so we'll stick with these two. Looks like Sneaky Stevo might just have the edge on Mountain Goat at this stage. Check back to the gaps up the front. Still,
top three are on the fuel line.
We are on the final lap. I'm not sure if they're going to be too worried about that fuel scenario.
Top 5, actually.
Geesh currently 15, nearly 16 seconds to the good. pole position, fastest lap, race win. Fairly solid way to start the season, basically picking up where he left off at the end of season 11. Rocky, his return drive to Sector 1, picking up, well, so far sitting in a P2, very, very solid performance. It's going to be interesting having a chat with the APR boys in the paddock a little bit later. I don't think either Ricky Bobby or Lenosis predicted this kind of result for themselves, but I'm sure that the two of them will be more than happy to take it. And if they're not happy with it, I'm going to get in there and slap them around a little bit. But crossing the line in dominant fashion is Geesh for CP in the Mercedes SLS, taking the trifecta of the pole position, fastest lap and the race win. On his return for his own team, Brocky05 takes home a P2. Ricky Bobby with a shake and bake joins them on the podium, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely stoked with that. GDR for Blacklight, P4. Lenosis with the lights flashing, a little bit of weaving, P5. Sways in his maiden main game drive for BSR, P6. Sneaky Stevo with a very quiet but solid performance tonight, picking up P7. Closely followed by Mountain Goat in P8. Dale Teeks bringing home P9, having managed to get the best of the Thunder Motorsport TO Artsy, who manages to beat his teammate Heafy in P11. Giffo unfortunately has been lapped, so he has already finished. E-Bulk for Hyperdrive brings home P12, and Captain Alternate Strategy for Zero Turn brings home P13. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our Category 1A Round 1 for Season 12 run and done. Whew. Well, that was interesting. Very different to how I had anticipated it would turn out. But like most of the time, I am happy to be wrong.
No, I thought it was a really good race. I was impressed the way the Mercedes drivers handled that race. The two Brocky 05 cars and of course Geesh at the front. In that second stint, they were a lot better on their tyres than they were in that first stint, and it gave them the ability to just, carry that pace through. Swayze finished P6 in his maiden race, so that was a really good effort, and I think some good teamwork there in getting the tunes set up and approaching the race.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in the YouTube chat, please throw in your Driver of the Day nominations while we have a quick little recap of the race results, if I can remember which button to press, and I think it's that one. So thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings, our race results. We're from pole position with the fastest lap of a 1:33.695, which is absolutely disgusting on a medium tyre. Is Geesh for CP Motorsport in the Mercedes SLS. Joining him on the podium, also in a Mercedes SLS for BSR, is the team owner Brocky05 on his return drive to Sector 1. Joining them on the podium is Mr. Shake and Bake himself, Ricky Bobby in the APR Motorsport Jaguar. Just missing out, but still with a very solid performance. In fourth is GTR in the Blacklight Jaguar. P5 is my other boy Lenosis in the APR Jaguar. In his maiden drive in the main game is Swayze in the BSR SLS Mercedes. A very solid performance again tonight is Sneaky Stevo in the Janco Racing Jaguar F-Type, just beating Mountain Goat in the zero-turn Corvette to the line. Dale Teeks in the Kraken Esports Mercedes SLS, bringing home P9. Thunder Motorsport TO, I'm just going to make that his nickname from now on. Artsy in the Thunder Jag, taking out P10, and his teammate Heafy bringing out P11. E-Bulk for the Hyperdrive SimSports Aston Martin. I think the only Aston Martin on the grid tonight, actually. Bringing out P12, Captain Muffin, aka Captain Penalty, aka Captain Alt Strat. Bringing home a P13 for the Zero-Turn Corvette, and in a bit of a rough night at the office for the Janko Racing team owner, Giffo. Rounds out our grid tonight in P14 in the Janko Jag. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Category 1 for Season 12 of the Legacy Series. Run and done. Now, if we check in with the YouTube chat, what are their thoughts on the drive of the day? So, from Ghost, we've got driver of the day for Ricky Bobby. Deborah Fish, driver of the day, Jeesh. What else we got? We've got another driver of the day from Jeesh from the Good Doc. Giffo thanking the Lord that is over. Mr. Bumcracks, driver of the day, Sneaky Stevo. We've got Slappers saying driver of the day for Brocky. Driver of the day for Mountain Goat from Mountain Goat. Look, we're just gonna leave that one alone. It's like a younger version of Womble. I don't know if I'm scared or not. You got a drive of the day for Jeesh, drive of the day for Brocky, drive of the day for Jeesh. Greg's is actually claiming correct prediction of the top 3, so let's see if we can scroll back here and confirm if that is correct. What are your thoughts, Banker, on driver of the day?
Driver of the day, a couple of nominations, and probably leave the final one up to the chat. Really impressed how Brocky 05 managed that race and kept his car in good condition. The other person I was really impressed with was Swayze. First race coming in at P6, drove strong, keeping an eye on his lap times and how he managed the car, and he did a really good job. But yeah, honourable mention to obviously the winner, Jeesh, but also Ricky Bobby, first of the Jags home, and again he wasn't afraid to set the pace early in the race, and also showed good racecraft. So yeah, if that sounds like I'm sitting on a fence, I am, but I'd probably lean towards Swayze. How's that?
Alright, well, if you're going to be sitting on the fence, I'm going to go full send in the opposite direction. I'm going to be biased as hell. I'm going to send my driver of the day nomination to my boy Ricky Bobby. Came into the race tonight not entirely confident in his pace or in his performance, and pulls out a P3, gets himself on the podium, so definitely my driver of the day nomination. Can confirm that Greg's, you did correctly predict the top 3 in the correct order as well, so congratulations, you get a gold star or an elephant stamp. That is your choice of prize. And it's not that I have little faith, it's just that I like to double check things before I say things, because I say incorrect and stupid things quite frequently. I try to keep it to a minimum as much as possible, but I do think the general consensus of the chat does have the driver of the day going to our race winner, Jeesh. So big congratulations, because he's now got the quaddie. He's got the pole position, the fastest lap, the race win, and the driver of the day. So yeah, look, that's a fairly bold statement to be making after round 1 of the season. So I think the rest of these guys have a lot of work to do for the rest of the season to try and work out how to combat this. But that's what we love to see. Well, it just means more racing action for all of us to enjoy. So there's certainly no complaints.
That's right, and also with the track choices this season, there's certain cars are going to be strong at certain circuits, and I think it's going to be well balanced across the 4 manufacturers. So, you know, when we get to places like Trial Mountain, St. Croix, I certainly think we're going to see the leaderboard shaken up.
100%. I probably should mention that not only do we have the... Well, actually, where is... I am for the calendar at the moment, because I just want to have a quick chat of that. So we've got, of course, round 1 being here at Dragon Trail Reverse. And obviously we're going to have Category 2 next week. Same time, same excellent YouTube channel. So please don't forget to tune in and join us next week, as both yourself and I will be back on a track together in the same group, which I am very much looking forward to. It's been a hot minute.
And after a season off, what could go wrong in a bet?
Who knows? Right, so just a quick going over our calendar. So round 2 will be a sprint round at Trial Mountain. And then we've got round 3, which is a short enduro, and we're bringing back the Circuit de Sainte Croix Layout B. So I'm sure that'll make a few of the OG guys very happy to see that track back on the calendar. And then, of course, we've got round 4, which is a normal round, standard round again. We're incorporating one of the new tracks, the Yas Marina Grand Prix circuit, which is absolutely gorgeous to watch. And it's actually not bad to race around either, so can't complain too much there. Then we've got round 5, which is our endurance round for the season at the mountain itself at Bathurst. So not my ideal scenario, because that's not my favourite track, but I'm sure there are people out there who love it. Good for you. Round 6 is back to a standard round at Sardinia Road Layout B. Then we've got round 7, another standard round at a track that I am much more in favour of at Suzuka Grand Prix Circuit. So very much looking forward to that. And then rounding out our season, we are going to one of the Great American Sandbox tracks, being the Laguna Seca Circuit. So that will be a very demanding season with these cars and tuning, so trying to get the car set up to suit each of those tracks and the sprint and endurance style requirements. So I think that's enough of me waffling on. Probably lost all the viewers at this point, so I would like to say thank you to anyone remaining. Thank you very much for everybody joining us here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you tuning in to watch the action tonight, and hopefully you can come back and join us again next week as Category 2 take on the Dragon Trail circuit. Will we see weather? Category 2B probably inclined to say no, but remains to be seen. Thank you very much to Banker for being our second race director this evening and joining us in the comms box. Always a pleasure, mate.
All good. No, thank you. I enjoyed it, and looking forward to getting on the track next week.
Indeed, indeed. So, without me waffling on anymore, if you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Links to our socials and our Discord are in the video description, so feel free to jump on in, check out the invitational series and the community, see what we're all about, and look forward to seeing you on a track with us. And until next time, yibbity yibbita, that's all, folks.
Cheers, guys.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for Category 1 racing action around All Saints Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute. I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, only feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back. Moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. He goes Sector 2! Oh my goodness!
Gee, she went wide.
Oh, he's run wide, it goes dead!
Oh my!
Oh no! No! You can't do that!
You see that steering wheel of that curve.
Fuzzy is somehow keeping it on the track surface! It's a spectacular drive and he will take his first win